Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. Please welcome my special guest, JJ Kitchen from Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. What's up, everybody? What's up, JJ? Back in the house, finally.
I know, man. Things slowing down a little bit. You know what? As you can see, I'm representing Pitt here, but I had to wear the red for Oklahoma fans. Look at guys. A little bit of this. A little bit of this.
Calm down.
A little bit of this.
Do a lot of that shit
money
tonight, buddy. We're gonna
free
do
money.
A lot of that shit. We're gonna do a lot of that tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Mars Jams, Sooner legend, Mike Hankster. What's up, fellas? How we doing? Hey, man, we're just excited. Hey, a lot of fun stuff. Well, you know what? I think tonight, folks, I mean, you should go ahead and get the game because I don't know how many people are in here at this point, but everybody needs to know we're just going to poke and pick at like everybody we don't like. That's pretty much what we're doing. Yeah, come on. I mean, we can throw some. You can throw some West Virginia in if you want to. I'm gonna bust up on an Okie Light in freaking Texas. Hey, Mizzou is freaking not safe today. None of them.
Mizzou's in a lot of trouble, man. When you lose your athletic director for a cheaper salary in the Big 12, you got problems.
Yeah, something's up there, right? Something's up there.
That's a big thing. They keep losing athletic directors.
Yeah, and I know that she was at UNLV whenever I was still living out there in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And so everybody likes her.
She's a stud.
Yeah. DRF. So she's pretty cool, man. But I don't know what's up, man. And but the Missouri people were pissed. They acted like she got pushed out, and they were like, man, I saw some terrible things that they were saying about the president of the school. I mean, terrible. It was showed their ass. Dude, think about this though for a second. And we've been listening to this Mizzou shit for a while now. They're almost as bad as Okie Light. They are almost as bad about that whiny shit and swearing that they're on the level with Oklahoma and Texas and everybody else in the SEC. They haven't won a freaking natty ever. They haven't won a conference title since World War II.
I mean, I've never understood why they talk so much. And again, it's kind of going in the route of, for me, Missouri's up there, but obviously you always got Florida State up there. Their fans are always too insufferable. But man, Missouri, I don't know what it is, but they've been talking a lot. I understand that they're upset with the president, which they should be. There's clearly a culture problem. When they did a breakdown of the last 4 ADs that have left from there. That's a major issue. And the fact that your AD went to a school where there's a budget deficit of $180 million for less money. I mean, that's a bad sign. There's clearly a culture issue. There's something going on there.
I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy. And they just got pissed, and so it's all day I've been watching them. Hey man, Roll Tide has rolled out the door, man. I don't know. As much as I like Kalen DeBoer, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to weather this storm, man. I'm not sure there, but we'll see.
That'd be fun, Mars. That'd be some fun stuff, man.
Yeah, Arky FU. Yeah, he's talking about Florida, so he's always FU with Hank. I love it. Mississippi State and Vandy. Yeah, they get them all. And look, I've seen everything from. When it comes to Texas and the SEC, and this is, I could show the whole clip. I won't. I'm sure most of you guys saw the clip from Onikuno today, or his little rant. I'm just I do want to put this one thing up there for everybody, just real quick. This is just my favorite part of this. Hold on, real 1 second. Let me take that off there.
Finally, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand. your brand. Your brand.
That may be the greatest video of all time.
Hey,
That may be,
I just had to cut it up a little bit. I mean, it's going to be, now I've got it here.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
Every time somebody brings up the brand.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
Oh my God, that is great. Oh my God, I would be hitting that button all the time with like WVU and Penn State people. That's what I'd be hitting it with.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, he was on fire. He was dogging them out. I mean, we might even go in and just check the whole video out, man. And well,
dude,
I don't want to do that.
You got to pull up that segment. You got to pull up that segment or something to show it.
He seems
intense about it.
He did the whole thing, but he was going off, and he's not wrong, because I tell you something. The whole deal, this whole thing with Texas, and we've been saying it a lot on this channel. We have, and any Oklahoma channel's been saying the same thing. These guys, they might have 4 losses, but they've got the freaking JV training wheel schedule for your ass first year. I mean, they said 4: Vandy, Arkansas, Florida, and freaking Mississippi State. They get all 4 of them.
I mean, and you got 8 conference games, so half your conference schedule is an easy dub. Dude,
that's what I'm saying. Oklahoma plays 11 win Mizzou, 11 win Ole Miss, 10 win LSU, 12 win Alabama. The 9 win Tennessee with Nico.
Plus still Texas. You still got your rivalry game that's in there.
11 games there.
Dude, I mean, I think for a first time team in the SEC, that was wrong. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a little bit too much. If anything, I haven't seen a schedule like that with Alabama or with Georgia. I don't know. I'd like to see some other teams get that. I mean, hell, why not? Why does Texas get that easy road? Especially too, you look at their out of conference schedule. It's nothing to really ride home about. So I don't get it. But guess what? I'll be rooting for my guy Brent Venables. I can tell you that. If there's one guy up for the challenge, it's Brent freaking Venables, man. Guy's ready.
Listen, I've been saying it, and look, everybody's acting like they downgraded at quarterback. And I understand. Look, I said it myself, and I was one of the people that said it early on that, look, you kind of want to go into the SEC, particularly with the schedule that you got. You want to go into the SEC with a little bit of, experience on your side. Here's the deal. Jackson Arnold has got more talent by a lot than Dylan Gabriel. He just does. He's got a bigger arm. He's a bigger kid. He's faster, a little stronger. I mean, the bottom line is when it comes to talent and athleticism, it isn't close. Dylan Gabriel wasn't a freaking Elite 11 winner. There's not a lot of guys out there that have won the freaking Elite 11. And all of a sudden he's a bum? What are we talking about? Last year, that Dylan Gabriel was our problem, according to Texas and everybody else. Dylan Gabriel was the problem. We weren't going to beat Texas because Dylan Gabriel sucks. Right? It's just a bunch of bullshit. And whatever. That's what Onikuno was talking about was, hey, I don't want to hear this shit about how, you essentially have all these guys here talking all this smack and loving on Texas. They're built for the SEC. But Oklahoma's not. Here's the thing that he didn't say, but I've been saying this a lot too. Guys, what happens to these flashy ass freaking offensive coaches? What happens to them? They win games. They don't win championships. Lincoln Riley, Mike Leach.
Yep.
Name them. Hey, Ryan Day. The only way they're going to win is if that defense leads the way. If you're not a defensive-minded coach, you're not winning shit. You're not.
Yeah. But also, too, the defense, I'm really happy about the additions on defense. But one of the guys I'm looking for Oklahoma that I've heard about, and they've added through the portal, Deion Burks. Obviously, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a stud this year. I think he's not being talked about enough.
Right.
As for Oklahoma fans, I hope you realize, in my opinion, I think he was the best wide receiver in the portal Just my honest opinion.
I think so too. Well, and Texas was all over him too. They were all over him. Everybody was all over him. They wanted him everywhere. Alabama was trying to get him. Look, the guy's all that. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, that dude he's not even 500 in his career as a head coach. Cliff's he's as much of a freaking farce as Lincoln is, at least. At least. I got some more stuff coming up about Lincoln too, guys. Don't worry. I got another video coming out soon about that. And Caleb Williams. We could actually talk a little bit about that. What's your take on him? Is he going to go number 1?
No. If they're smart, they don't. And I trust Merrill Hodge.
That's the question. I don't know that I think they take him. But I'm going to ask you, would you take him number 1?
No. Drake May all day. And number 2 should be Jaden Daniels. And I trust Merrill Hodge. If you remember back in the day, a guy that got, he got trashed for saying, well, Johnny Manziel's not going to be the guy. He's not nothing special. He's a 5th rounder or a 6th rounder. Let me tell you something. A guy that's consistent. I watched him play in person. I watched his stats build up over time. He was consistent. He was always aggressive, but he stayed level key through wins and losses. Drake May's number 1. And Jaden Daniels is number 2. Those are your 2 guys. I think Caleb Williams is a major problem. He's a guy asking for basically equity in the organization when he gets drafted. Well, get the hell out of here, man. Like, you're not.
I think the guy is a super. I don't think that there's a more talented player in the draft. Here's what I saw from last year, and this is kind of where I'm headed with a lot of it on here, is that with Caleb, the problem with this kid is, first of all, he's a crier. Yeah. I'm not sure what the hell's going on with that, but why are you crying all the time like that in front of God and everybody? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to as a man or any of that. I'm not going there. What I'm telling you is in that locker room, I don't know how that plays.
But my biggest thing is, though, too, I agree with you about the crying, but imagine a guy like him who, what did he say about Max Duggar crying?
Duggan. Yeah. Last year he was talking all that crap about him, laughing about that. And then but he had been crying already. He cried multiple times last year. And then, I mean, when he crawled into his mother's arms after that freaking game against Washington and bawled his eyes out, to me, it's not a great look. And the other part of it is that I think Lincoln screwed him. You've got probably the best running back in the country there, right? And he gets 11 carries a game. Meanwhile, you've got Caleb running around for his dear life. I don't think he knows how to read a defense. He reads half of the field, and then he runs around and tries to throw a deep ball. And it's not going to work like that. Lincoln never even got him a easy 3-step drop and get the ball out throw.
When I can tell you this too, and this is 100% a fact. I can tell you right now. I know this for a fact. He didn't go back there, and he was still offered $10 million to go back, and NIL money. I'm telling you right now, he was offered $10 million. I know that for a fact because I work with a number of different collectives around the country, especially with ours at Alliance 412.
He's worth the money in LA. That's the thing about it. He was already making that much in actual NIL, what NIL was supposed to be, because he had national brands that were giving him money.
And I think the biggest thing is with the amount of talent that was on that team, when you go 7-5 and you're a constant problem, your body language is an issue, that's a cancer waiting to happen. And a guy that consistently can't win the big one, let alone win the games they're supposed to win, you can't draft that guy. If the Bears draft him, God bless you. But guess what? You're idiotic. And I know they're probably scared about drafting Drake May because he's another North Carolina guy. They don't want another Mitch Trubisky. But Drake May is a lot better than Mitch Trubisky. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I would think so too. But I mean, and there's other guys that, I mean, look, Michael Penix, bro. Michael Penix, he can make every freaking throw. Now you worry about his injury.
He's old, hurt a lot. That kind of stuff. I think he's a safe 2nd or 3rd rounder.
Honestly,
I think it's
I don't know why they would get rid of. Hey, what's up, bloody? How you doing? I don't know why they would get rid of
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. He's better than any of the guys that are coming out. And
I agree.
I mean, that's not the issue there. You trade the pick away and, add some talent.
Yeah. And if they're smart, you know what I mean? But if you feel like you need a quarterback in the first round of that first overall pick, if you don't take Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and preferably Drake May, you're an idiot. I mean, if you take Caleb Williams, you better be prepared to deal with. You better have an organization that's strong that can handle the bullshit that comes with him. And guess what? The Bears are not that organization.
Since when are the Bears that?
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't. I don't realize. Yeah, they're not making the right decision.
I think they're angling for him to get with Cliff because Cliff will let him do whatever he wants to in Washington, right?
And that's where he wants to go. I think if they find out the Bears want Caleb, Washington Commanders will trade up to get that pick because that's why Cliff went there. 100%.
Absolutely. But it's again, he wasted Kyler in Arizona.
You can't get it beat. I mean, it's comical, and especially Washington. I would love to see that because it's going to crash and burn. It's going to crash and burn.
Oh, man, it's so funny, dude. And watching these guys, and look, and I'm the kind of guy. Look, I'm not a Caleb hater. He engineered the greatest comeback in Red River history, beat Texas. I will forever be, in his debt for that. Always. I mean, any Oklahoma fan, you got to give him love for that. No matter what.
That was a hell of a game.
No matter what, you got to do that. Spencer Rattler was pissing down both legs, and Caleb came in and saved the day. And he put his cape on all year. He played and I'll give him that. He's got heart. He plays his ass off. I don't think that's what you have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I don't think that he has gotten better as far as learning the finer points of the game, the things that you got to know at the next level. Because guess what? You're not the only stud anymore.
Yeah.
You're not. There's everybody on that field. You go ahead and try to scramble around like that shit in the NFL. You're going to get killed. You can't do it. And if you make those reads, you're a little late on that throw, it's going the other way. The defensive backs are just too good in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're just too good. And it's all these guys are that good. So that's the whole thing. My whole deal is that I would say you've got to know that he's, to me, that's the question that I have is what is it that Lincoln's been doing? What is it that Lincoln's been doing? I mean, like I said, you didn't even give him easy throws and shit. Get some of hey, Caleb, get it out. When you hit that third step on the 3-step drop, get the ball out. Slants, digs, things like that. Easy routes that you can get those guys open. And he never even did that.
Mm-hmm. Especially to your curl routes, your skinny posts, your in the flats, especially your flats, or your even, for instance, a nice, good quarterback-friendly play. Obviously, your halfback draw, getting something going, catching an aggressive defense. I really do believe that he thinks that quarterback, Caleb, is a lot better than what he is. I just think that when you look at a lot of these NFL scouts, they say this guy is not special. There are too many issues behind the scenes that go on, especially as a guy as a head case. I just think the NFL is a different ball game. And
that's the concern that I don't know, man. If you can't handle it at college, what are you going to do when they start kicking your ass in the NFL? Because you're going to the worst team. If you're the number one pick, you're not going to a great situation. Yep. There's a reason why they're number one.
Yep.
And look at how long it takes them to get. Look, Cleveland's never. I mean, they've done what they've done, and they're great on defense and all that crap, and they still ain't winning shit.
Yeah.
What it took for Detroit. I mean, Matt Stafford couldn't win shit the whole time he was there. When they traded all those picks away to get Matt Stafford, and then you get a guy like Jared Goff, then look, Detroit's in there good, And I don't even know that I love that coach, but it worked. You are able to put together a team that can compete now, right? Because you're not trying to force a square peg into a round hole with a quarterback when you don't have everything else you need. A quarterback don't matter. What's up, Stephen G? Bloody Guns. What's up, man? Glad everybody's in here. We're just talking about all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk smack about everybody a little bit. We were started off talking and something that Hank set up here about Texas that I love. What did he say? Oh, yeah. Texas just lost the guys they were saying were SEC ready. You know what? I kind of agree with that, too, because that's the other thing that nobody's talking about. They had to replace all their pass catchers. They got Amari Niblack. I know he's really good, right? Came from Alabama. They got the other really good receivers coming in, too, but they're not proven with them. And what we've seen in the portal is you can't mix all this together and it really work. At least not right away.
Yeah.
Right? You know, the offensive line pretty much stayed intact. I think they lost one guy, but they lost their entire defensive line, plus their defensive line coach to LSU.
Yeah. Huh.
With Bo Davis.
Yeah.
They already weren't good in the secondary. They're going to be going with a bunch of freshmen there. I don't see it. And I mean, I get it. They're going to have somehow they'll figure it out. Quinn Ewers this is his third year. He should be better. But the dude's kind of soft too.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's kind of soft.
You know, I think one of the biggest things that I think, you just hit on there is Bo Davis. He's a hell of a football coach. I think it's a really big loss.
Hell of a recruiter.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? If you're Sark, why do you let that happen? There's no way that Texas should have allowed that.
Yeah. There's no reason.
Anywhere but LSU. Anywhere but LSU or somewhere else in the SEC that's going to hurt them.
Exactly. I'm kind of shocked they let that happen. That's probably one of your best recruiters, but more importantly, just the defensive line in general. He is a factory. He's a production guy.
What's the only thing that matters in the SEC? The only thing that anybody ever talks about in the SEC is what do you have to do? You have to build in the trenches. You have to get those guys, the David Stones of the world, the Jaden Jacksons and Nigel Smiths of the world. Those are the dudes you got to get. And they got Colin Simmons on. He's a great edge. He's going to be really, really good. But dude, who's going to coach him? They got a guy from the Dolphins that hadn't even been a position coach on his own yet.
Yeah,
I just think that there's a lot of little things that could go a little awry, but nobody's talking about that shit. They're talking about Oklahoma has the best offensive line coach in the country. He's got 11 first or second round guys playing in the NFL today. 11.
Yep.
And they're worried about the offensive line. And if it's not talking about the offensive line, then you're talking about the guy on SEC podcast the other day, Barrett Sallee. He's a moron. He was saying they're not going to have these electric offenses anymore with Brent Venables. What is Jackson Arnold? And they were top 5 in the fucking country last year in offense.
Yeah. I just that's a that's a dumb statement. But at the same time, though, I'm not shocked. But when you look at it, though, you look at Brent Venables. He understands the job of scoring points. That's why, you know what? Hey, it didn't work out. Jeff Levy ended up still going to Mississippi State, got a head coaching job. That's great. Yeah, but Oklahoma State was still top 5. They were still top 5.
You were talking about Seth Littrell, though. For you were looking at him for there at Pitt. You were talking about him. Seth Littrell has a longer track record of being a play caller than freaking Levy does. And they run the same thing. He was in the system last year already. He's worked with these guys. They held it. Him and Joe John held the thing together, held the entire class together. They've got another. He was talking about they're not going to get these dynamic quarterbacks. Wait till you see freaking Michael Hawkins.
Yeah.
Michael Hawkins runs a sub 4.5 40 and can throw it about like Jackson can.
Yeah, and I can tell you this. I like Seth Littrell a lot. I think he's an upgrade over Levy. I can tell you this. If Levy would not left, he would probably be up north. I mean, that's how much they like that guy a lot. He's a really good recruiter. He understands how to value mismatches, creating those opportunities, putting players in positions to win. I think he does a great job. I think it's more of a culture fit too. He fits everything you want to do.
He was on the national championship team. He was there. All these guys. Then you go in there and you replace Ted Roof with Zach Alley, who is Brent Venables' right-hand man for 7 years at Clemson. He came up with Brent. They call him a clone and everything. At Jacksonville State, he had a top 15 unit in the country.
Yeah.
On defense. He's already been this is his third. It was his third year of being a DC. He's going to do everything the way that it's going to allow some of that other stuff to go happen. There's my mom saying hello. Hey, Mom.
Hey,
nice to see JJ again. Yeah, we like to see him too. But yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is when you start looking at it, what are we even talking about? These guys are ready to go, and the defense is bringing back pretty much everybody that they need. They added David Stone. They added Jaden Jackson, and Jaden Jackson might be he might make more of an impact than Stoney will. And I'm not saying anything bad about David Stone. He is a the perfect freaking defensive tackle, but this kid's already 320 pounds. And he was eating up a lot of double teams for Stoney last year. And when they didn't double team him, he did what Stoney did, killed the other guy. These dudes they were both at IMG. They're ready.
And I'm ready to see a guy like DeJohn Terry, for instance. I think he's great. Jacob.
Oh yeah.
I think Jacob's really good. You bring him back. Hell, man. I think Marcus Strong's still there, right?
I'm not sure if he's still there or not. He may be, but
I
then they got
think
Grayson Halton. Grayson Halton is ready to. I mean, this is his third year now. He's put on a lot of muscle, a lot of weight. I think G Baby's going to be one of those guys. I'm telling you, I think Nigel Smith is gonna make an impact right away too, and you can move him inside or outside. He's that dude. Danny Okoye, Alabama Nick Saban was frothing at the mouth over him last summer. Wanted him after he went to his camp. He was the MVP. He offered him immediately. They didn't even know who he was. You know,
I can tell you this. I hope Nigel stays on the outside because that guy is a freak of nature when it comes to rushing the passer. I'm just telling you, regardless what he plays, he's going to be really good. But I just think as an outside rusher, he's going to get paid a lot of money when it comes to the NFL draft in 3 years. I think that kid's really good. And I've been high on him. I watched him in person when he was up here at the Southside facility training with Aaron Donald. Him and Al Pudi, they were doing knife fighting. I mean, it was good shit, man. I mean, he's ready to go.
He's a star, man. And the thing is that's where they've been doing that. They've got a guy that nobody's been really talking about, but you've got a kid from California that's a sophomore now coming in. There's some guys on that D line. Then you got your linebacker quarterback. You've got Peyton Bowen. You're hoping that he's healthy. PJ Adebawore didn't really get to play much last year. He's gonna get playing time this year. He was a 5-star plus guy, top 5 guy in the country from an edge rusher. I mean, I know that they've got a tougher schedule. I get that. There's probably going to be, you can see them losing a game or two. I've got them. I've been saying 9-3, but I'm going to tell you, if that's 9-3, but if they've got a top 20 defense and they're anywhere close to what they were on offense, I mean, top 20 offense, they could do it all. If Jackson Arnold is anywhere close to what Dylan was last year, and I'm gonna say again, he's already a better player, right?
Yeah.
But if he doesn't make a bunch of turnovers and do stuff like that, the SEC's in deep shit.
And listen to me on this. Here's why I say 10-2. Here's why. Just hear my thoughts on this. I think that when you look at, when we talk about offense, I'm not concerned about the offense. I think Seth Luttrell is going to do a good job. I think the difference will be Brent Venables and how he's recruited. There's depth. So, for instance, there might be a starting 4, for instance, but he does a lot of what Pitt does in terms of their D linemen and their linebackers. They do a rotation to where they're always healthy. I know Brent Venables. He loves the blitz. He loves those guys, making sure they're extremely 100% endurance. They're 100% fresh. He's going to have at least, for instance, on the down lineman, for instance, he'll have 8 ready to go into a rotation. He'll have 6 ready to go in a rotation for linebackers. I think that's going to be the difference of where you see that 9-win season to where I think it's guaranteed, where you're gonna get a game that you really thought maybe, hey, you know what, we might slip up on this one, but I think you win that game because there's a lot of depth. It's very different than last year. It takes a whole year to understand, hey, we're now in year 2, year 3. We're in year 3 now. Here's why it's going to work. He's got a lot of depth. I'm just telling you, I like what he's done. He's done a really good job. He's taken the blueprint from Dabo Swinney. He's done a great job of building that defense. He's got depth. I think he's ready to go.
Yeah, look, and I mean, I've been saying all this time that 2025 is the target year for me. That's what I really feel like, where they're probably more likely to win one, just because you've got some more experience and stuff like that. The truth is, though, you never know. They weren't supposed to win it in 2000 when they did either. But look, if you Xavier Worthy gone from Texas, A.D. Mitchell gone, Jordan Whittington gone. Then you got, Jatavion Sanders, they lost their right tackle. They lost Kellen Robinson. dude, they're in trouble, man. And then they lost
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks as well. And now,
Yeah.
look, they've got a great running back room. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But then already Oklahoma was the more physical of the two teams in the Red River game. That's why they won it. And nobody seems to remember it, to want to talk about that shit. That Oklahoma, they barely won the game. That happens a lot. But they dominated the trenches. And that's what you're supposedly saying that Texas is built for. You keep hearing about how they went in there and beat up on Alabama. Well, maybe they did. But guess what? They got beat up on in the trenches by OU. Everybody gave all that love to Texas, but they're not doing the same. They're not giving the same love to the team that beat Texas.
Same thing at the end of the year too. I mean, Washington beat them up pretty strongly in the college football playoff. I mean, it was a tough physical game, but Washington came back for a reason. Washington played the way they did for a reason. You know, I just think that when you look at their up front, they lost a number of guys. I'm willing to see what they do to replace them. Obviously, Bo Davis is a huge loss. I keep telling that to people. Some people don't want to believe me on that. I think it's a big deal. I think Brent Venables, the way he's building the team from the front to the back, I've always said that you start in the trenches. And in the SEC, you got to build in the trenches first.
You have to, and it's what do we keep saying though, and that's the whole point that I was saying is that these offensive freaking put up 50 guys. They're not the dudes that are head coaches, and that's what they're concerned about. They're not the ones that win. They're not the ones that win. They don't win it. Mike Norvell ain't going to win like that either. You've got to be the best team on defense, one of the best teams on defense. You got to be able to stop the other side. And what Hank's talking about here, you're not wrong, Hank. As much as look, and I like Ole Miss. I like Lane Kiffin. I don't think that they have as much talent as Oklahoma, and I don't think they're coached as well either. As much as I like Lane, they're not coached as well.
Yeah, the one thing that's going to work in Oklahoma's favor, I think, is they run a lot more pro-style offenses. For instance, you look at, I guess, obviously you'll change a little bit with Alabama. They'll go towards more of a spread with what's his face there?
Caleb, with
Caleb DeBoer.
But they lost Grubb. What's going to happen there? And dude, Milroe isn't a thrower.
Yeah. Well, they brought what's his face. They bring what's his face in.
That kid that they got, the red shirt kid.
Yeah, I don't think Milroe's going to start. Just my opinion. For what the offense
that's another fresh face starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think that if they really want to throw the football,
and you get them at home. You get them at home. So that's the one. I mean, look, I say you probably better get Alabama early because, if he gets his recruiting feet underneath him, the guy wins football games. We know that.
Yeah, he wins games. But, I think it's what helped Texas last year. They got Alabama early. Alabama was tied at the halftime with USF.
Well, we don't get him until the end of the year, but I'm saying early in his career.
Yeah,
if they struggle, it's going to be this year.
Yeah. The whole different regime. You got different guys in there. Obviously,
and the way that it went down, I mean, with them losing to the portal the way they did, I don't think that Saban really realized what he was doing when he made that decision, right? That was going to really, because the rest of the transfer portal isn't open.
Yeah.
Well, it was just pilfering from you.
Yeah. And he was saying he was tired, he was tired. He couldn't do it the same way. He just didn't want to deal with NIL anymore. The platform has now become.
What it was. He was not. He no longer had the advantage of being able to do it under the table and not get caught.
Yeah.
And stack up freaking 3, 4, 5 guys down. And that's the one thing that the NIL has done is it's leveled the playing field at least a little bit. And there's still 12 to 15 teams, 12 teams really, and maybe even less than that really have a shot at winning the whole thing. But right now, that's the way it is. And I think the problem with it is the money disparity is going to make it hard. It's going to make it hard coming up. But in the end, yeah, he doesn't want to have to do that. He liked it where now you can lose it. You have to re-recruit everybody every year. He doesn't like that shit. Right? He doesn't like that shit. He doesn't like it that now you're going to get overbid because Texas and Texas A&M, if they woke up with Alabama money tomorrow, they'd jump in a freaking river. You know what I mean? They wouldn't like it at all. They jump out of a building. That's just not how it is. Texas is not, and Texas A&M can pay whatever they want. Right?
Yeah.
There's programs that can, and there's programs that look. I'm not saying Alabama's a freaking poverty program, because it isn't, and neither is Georgia, and neither is obviously Ohio State or any of these other programs. But there's not many Texas and Texas A&Ms out there that really have an endless pocketbook.
Yeah, right. And I think too, I think Georgia's in a better spot because Kirby's there, and Kirby's not going to do anything that's out of his mind. He knows what he's doing. He's going to build. He's going to build and continue to build. Alabama's got a little more of a stride.
Well, and obviously Ohio State made a big play, and I mean, go figure. They brought in the AD from Texas A&M, and they start paying NIL money.
Yeah, imagine that.
Huge NIL money. So, I mean, Will Howard's going to win a national championship? I'm not buying him. There's no way.
Yeah, that's still a question mark.
I don't know, man. And I don't think Ryan Day's that guy. I just don't know that he's that guy. We'll see.
Yeah, he hasn't gone over the hump. I don't think he's that guy either.
They better not lose to Michigan again. I know that shit.
If they lose to Michigan again with a new coach, obviously I know, and obviously Sharon's been there. Sharon's
a good coach, but you're not supposed to lose that game now.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do not to a new coach. It's just I don't know.
New quarterback, new everything. No. This is not going to be okay. Or does the BYU basketball court look better than Duke? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's BYU's got a nice. Hey, man, they got nice facilities all the way around at BYU. They got money too. It's like Notre Dame.
They do.
They got loot. There's money out there. Hank says, 900 pounds of defensive tackles, no doubt. And that's the whole thing, is that it's just amazing to me. No, don't get me wrong. If they don't make the playoff with that schedule, then Sark, that was a failure and a half if they don't make the playoff, Texas.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
After they finish with they've got the Georgia and the Oklahoma game back to back. After that, the rest of their SEC schedule is 14 games under 500 this year. 14 games under 500. There's no excuses. Now, A&M, you got to go to A&M. Okay. And maybe, hey, what's up, coach? We'll have to wait and see on that. But to me, I don't know, man. I think that something's going to happen there. And look, Sark's won 10 games exactly once last year.
Yeah, one time. That's it. One
time, bro. And everybody loves him, but I don't get it. You want to come in, coach? I can send you the link if you're done. He had his grandson had a basketball game, I think.
At basketball game. He's watching at the basketball game.
Oh, at the basketball game, my man. All right. Well, it's in there in case you want to watch later or want to come in later. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm at the point where I'm still saying that, and it's what Onikuno was talking about. They just want it to be so. Hey, coach, you got to watch this. I'm going to run it one more time.
Finally, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand.
Again, that's just the greatest video of all time.
I love it, dude. I hope he doesn't give me a copyright strike for that shit. I'm trying to promote your channel there, Onikuno. Don't throw me down like that.
Oh my God,
that's so awesome. Hey, what's up? And Bloody said, Coach, get in. He's at his grandson's basketball game, but I don't know when it'll be over with, but you guys can't tell me that shit ain't hilarious. It's great stuff. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, man. Onikuno's a trip. He's a trip. He was in rare form today. It was hilarious. But he's not wrong. The thing is, he's not wrong. I've been saying it in different ways, but he just said, fuck it, I'm going to get off on it. was gonna
He
say
was-
what I'm gonna say.
He was going off, and so was Cody. I can't remember what Cody was going
Oh,
off
yes.
about today.
We've been talking about how obviously FanDuel and Vegas or whoever it is, I think Vegas has got them at 8 games at this point.
Yeah.
FanDuel had them at 6.5. It moved to 7.5 because everybody was betting the over. But yesterday, they were, I guess FanDuel released the Big 12 projected win totals, and Okie Light was at 7.5. So last year, remember, if you guys remember, he was telling everybody to hammer the over. He got really lucky that Gundy decided to get off his back porch and go back to work because they just lost to South Alabama like badly. 27-7. I mean, they got their ass kicked. Or 34-7, whatever it was, and at home at that. And then they lost to freaking Iowa State. And next thing you know, Gundy comes back. They start running the football, which is what they should have been doing with Ollie Gordon, but they did.
Yep.
And they squeak it out. They got away with some shit. But anyway,
Oklahoma State has a little bit of grind to them too, man. I've heard a lot of chatter from behind the scenes, by the way, that Missouri tried to buy Ollie Gordon. That's what I've heard. Try to get him to hit the portal, and some
like
Oklahoma State fans heard about it.
I will say this: it feels like Ollie is pretty loyal because he really pissed off at Texas because they didn't offer him until like the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So he was locked in, and I guess when he wasn't getting the ball, they would have lost him had it not been for Gundy coming back because he went to Gundy and said, "Hey, give me the football. We can win if you'll give me the ball." And they weren't going by the game plan that was supposedly what it was supposed to be. Well, then he comes in and does the game, and starts deciding what they're going to run. He starts scripting out the plays. Next thing you know, it helped them. Look, I'm not sure that I think that with that quarterback, I think 7.5, I think 8's going to be tough this year. I know that with Oklahoma and Texas are gone, but it's a bigger conference, and I think that there's some landmines there for them, and I don't like their quarterback. I don't. He's telling everybody though, again, to pound the over. Let's see. He got away with it last year, but let's show you this one.
Last football season, we, as in yes, you and me, were able to maximize our bank accounts by capitalization of the schedule and utilizing the right pieces for the offense. Well, regulators, mount up and grab some hammers on your way.
He's
Cody Light. He's so
my God.
Cody Light's so freaking poetic. Regulators mount up and grab
regulators grab your hammers.
Everybody to hammer the over on 7.5. I've been seeing it since yesterday. It's so hilarious. Okie Light sucks. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okie Light Cody makes me laugh though, because he got away with one and he knew he did. He was like, "Shit, man, I can't believe I told everybody that. Now I'm gonna have to live through that." Imagine if we make one of the 5-12 season of the playoff next year and host the first round game in Norman.
That'd be something.
Jordan, it could happen, man. And welcome to the show, by the way. It could happen. It really could. Trying to forget how Jeff called that game versus Okie Light. Yeah, listen, Mars, that's the whole thing. And not only that, but there was some shady shit going on with the officiating. We know that. When you tackle Drake Stoops in the end zone in front of right in front of a freaking ref and he doesn't call anything, the ball still lands in his hand. He's just out of bounds because he got tackled. They don't call that. That's ball game. But then, but Jeff definitely did not. That was not that. And both losses, he called awful games in both of them. Both of them. So it's just, that's the one thing about Levy is, hey, look, I'm not a Jeff Levy basher. I think that sometimes I didn't understand the play calls though. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand what his plan was because it just didn't seem like you would get there with something and then you kind of go away with it. And there was just so much moving around with players and pieces and parts, and it just didn't. I just didn't care for it. And it didn't seem like he really trusted Dylan a lot. When he would trust him early on, they would blow up. When he would kind of like handcuff him a little bit, it looked like hell. It just didn't look good, man.
I like this plan going in to every game, but the adjustments, I think he just really lacked adjustments during the game. And that's an art, man. I think it's tough. There's only so many good coordinators. I just think he lacked adjustments. It was kind of shown. It was shown during the season.
Yeah, I think that he just, there was times that, look, and you can't, the overall product was really good. 2 years in a row, they were top 15 and top 5 in 2 years with him. I mean, all that shit that Barrett Sallee was saying the other day is just ludicrous because they didn't skip a beat. And in fact, they're out recruiting Lincoln Riley offensively too. They went and got Taylor Tatum. They got Devon Mitchell. All these guys that he really, really wanted, they didn't go to freaking SC. You know? But in the end, I'd like to see Jeff go 8-4. That'd be a hell of a freaking season for him if he went 8-4.
Yeah.
I don't really see that happening, but that would be cool. But again, the jet sweep, good God. In the end, they had a really, overall, it was successful, but the games that they lost, I definitely agree that he didn't call anything well. He didn't throw the ball hardly at all, bloody, in that game. The Kansas game, didn't even throw it. Yeah, that fucking jet sweep.
Trust me, as a Pitt fan, I mean, even watching the Steelers, man, forget the jet sweeps, man. I can't do it no more.
The jet sweep is fine if you have a vertical part of it. If there's a vertical thread in there that they have to honor, and so they can't just stay in the box and wait for the dude to get there. I mean, shit, everybody's seen it for 2 years. They know what it looks like coming from OU. It just didn't make sense. And he had variations of it, and none of them had a guy going deep where the quarterback can make a decision of, hey, maybe I don't hand it off here. Maybe I'll throw it to freaking Brennan Thompson blazing down the field, with his 10-2 freaking 100 speed. Shit. What the fuck are we doing? It's just crazy. Yeah. Just crazy. Stoops at Kentucky go 10-3 and beat Mizzou. Hey, they'll own it. That's the one game that there ain't no way OU loses that game to Mizzou. There ain't no damn way. With Caden Green and all this stuff with Williams Nwaneri, and then all these shit talking mid-Zoo fans, there ain't no way they're gonna get beat in that game. Ain't no way. Shit talking mid-Zoo. Get out of here with that shit.
I love Coach in the comments. Let's run the jet sweep.
Yeah. He knows what we're talking about. I hate the jet sweep. I hated it. But man, if I see that shit one more time, and the whole thing was like the Oklahoma State game. You had a chance to go ahead big. You went down there, got that touchdown. You're going down, you're about to take a two-score lead, moving down the field easy. All of a sudden, Javonte Barnes, who hadn't been in the fucking game in 3 weeks, nobody's seen him in a month. And all of a sudden he comes in and they try a direct snap to him on first down inside the 20. Why? He fumbles it. They lose the ball. The momentum shifted immediately. They never really, they had other chances, but it was just shit like that. Like, why? What was the point in that?
Yeah.
Why are you getting cute there? Gavin Sawchuk had just ripped off 2 big runs. You didn't need, why is Javonte even in? And I like Javonte, but he'd been hurt and hadn't been in the game. This was not the time to, let's stick him in. Put Gavin back in. What are we doing?
Yeah. Too many questionable calls. That's just really what it is.
Yeah, man. There's no doubt. And in the end, though, now you're better at tight end. You've got more good running backs. You've got a big bruiser running back in Xavier Robinson, bro. That guy, he's a 3-star, and I don't know why. He looks like that dude. He's 240 already. He's 6'2", 240. Just breaks people in half. Then Taylor Tatum, he's the kind of guy that it doesn't matter where you get him the football. He can break it. We
Him
haven't
and,
really seen
him and Javonte Barnes are going to be really good too. I like Javonte Barnes a lot.
I like Javonte too, man. If he's healthy, Javonte will be very good. He was really good as a freshman. He was kind of that he was kind of that bruiser back when Eric Gray and him were in the backfield together.
Mm-hmm. Just more depth. You just look at the depth across the board. It's how they recruited, the game plan. They've stuck to their plan. They've understood the player they want. They understood the person they want. I just think that overall, when you look at the roster, there's just depth, and you need depth to really make that national championship run. And then
here's the thing. Here's the thing about Jackson is, and again, I'm a fan of Dylan Gabriel. I think that everybody that's an Oklahoma fan should be eternally indebted to him, because he came in and replaced. That's a tough situation for any quarterback to come into. Caleb Williams leaves, Spencer Rattler leaves. The quarterback room is busted up, and he came in there and did all he could do, But the truth of it is, Jackson can run better. He's more of a threat to run. He was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out. He was a top 5 overall, top 10 overall player in his and Gatorade Player of the Year, Elite 11 winner. The guy is the real deal. He couldn't out throw, but nobody could. Brennan Thompson had to kind of slow down for that pass in the Alamo Bowl, but only because he runs a 10-2, 100. I mean, he's a track star. He's a freaking Olympic speed guy. But that ball was there was no chance that DB was catching up to them. Yes, Xavier's a beast. He just Hey, what's up, Kim? Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
man, we've been waiting on JJ to come back here. See, you're always missed whenever you don't show up, bro.
I'm telling you, I know.
We've been busting your chops about not coming too. I told Coach, I said, man, you got to get his ass on Twitter.
He did. I was sitting in my office. I was sitting in my office. And I saw the tweet. I go, oh, here comes Coach. He's pissed at me. That's why I hit him back.
Yep. You're lucky he's not in here right now. He'd be busting your ass. Yeah. Hey, folks, if you haven't already hit the like button, please do hit that like button. Wipe your feet before you come in this house. Make sure that, hey, take care of the sponsors that are taking care of us, guys. Mint Mobile, we're so excited about our partnership with Mint Mobile. Look, this is not bullshit phone service either. This is a real deal phone service. They are on the largest 5G network in the country. But going through our link, trymintmobile.com/HOF. It's trymintmobile.com/HOF. If you get $15 a month for 3 months unlimited talk text data. Hey, look, the thing, Ryan Reynolds has been very, very, look, and you probably know something about this, JJ, with you being in the banking business and the stocks and all that stuff. Ryan Reynolds has been super aggressive with what they're trying to do with this company, and they've done amazing things. Look, you don't need big wireless anymore. You can go through there and literally get everything that you need. And for the first 3 months, if you need all the data in the world, then great. Then go ahead and, it's still going to be $15 a month for the first 3 months. You prepay for that. You can bring your own phone. You don't even have to talk to a salesperson. That's nice. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm telling you, it's one of those deals where, to me,
I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear? Jason?
It must have muted me somehow.
There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, hey, I'm glad it did, actually, because I said the F word. So no, but big wireless, you don't need big wireless guys anymore. You can bring your own phone, $45 for 3 months. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. We also have our partnership with Devil Dogs Brew and Beans. This is a veteran-owned company serving veterans. Very important to us. Look, you can get 10% off of your first order with them. They have amazing coffee from all over the world. It is roasted, ground, and shipped the same day you order to make sure you get freshness right at your door. 10% off by using the promo code Boomer on your first order. Always free shipping. and 5% of every sale goes to Wounded Warrior. That's enough reason to buy your coffee from them right there. It goes to Wounded Warrior. That's so important. For all of us that were Toby Keith fans, how important was that organization to Toby Keith? You know, just one of those.
By the way, I wasn't here. Obviously, I wasn't able to be on that show. Rest in peace to him and his family. I'll tell you what, talk about a patriot and a great person. I loved his music growing up. Still loved his music. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, man, talk about, hey, all I know is there's one thing in this world, Jason. You want to know what's really true? I should have been a cowboy. That's what I should have been.
Should have been a cowboy. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. Hey, this is a good question here. Look, they're not trying to make it easy for anybody to understand. 11 Power 5 teams, 1 G5 automatic. Pretty much. So before they had it set up where it was going to be 6 automatic bids, 5 from the Power 5 conferences, 1 automatic bid to a group of 5, the highest ranked group of 5 conference champion. So last year that would have been Liberty, right? So they would have made it in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If they'd have stayed with 6, though, that makes it 6 and then 6 at-large bids for whoever else. Now, now it's going to just 5s because you lost a power conference. The Pac-12 is no more after this season. So you have 4 power conferences, the autonomous 4, whatever you want to call it. And then you have still the group of 5, 6, whatever it is. So instead of having 2 teams out of those G5 schools, they're going to go to just 5 of them and 7 at-larges. In my opinion, they should all be at-large bids. If you really want to have the best teams in the playoff, you just go all at-large. But you do give the opportunity to a G5. I don't know how long this is going to last, but right now you're looking at 5 conference champions. It'll be 4 from the Power 4 guaranteed. Those 4 will get your automatic bye for the first round. Those 4 conference champions, or the highest rated conference champions is what it's going to be. The G5 is more than likely going to be like number 12.
Yeah. And it's going to be, it's more than likely you'll have your first, your 2 teams, your top 2 teams will be the bye more than likely. And then you'll have obviously your Power 4, which it was the right thing to do, obviously, to put the Pac-12 falling apart. You've got your Power 4, your 1 group of 5. I think they're going to, it's signed for a 2-year contract. It's a trial run to make sure they have all their viewership. That's the biggest thing. They're doing everything because of viewership. If the viewership's as high as it ever been or continues to climb, I see it staying the same because the more people you have involved in this, the more people that want to watch it.
Yeah. So who gets to host? So the 4 teams that are getting a bye to start in the first round, you'll be your conference champions, right? So it'll be the highest rated non-conference champions will be the ones hosting. So let's say your second place team from the SEC, right? If they had just 1 more loss than the champion or whatever, or they could still be like number 2, who knows? But they're probably going to be one of those ones that gets to host a game, right? That would be my thoughts. The question I have is how many are they going to let in? 12C will never win 2 games. I don't know about never, coach. It depends on how they work it. I think that the questions are all going to come now because we think we know what they're going to do. Do you though? I mean, it just depends. And here's my question is, does it become kind of NFL-ish where wildcard teams get to the Super Bowl a lot?
Yep. I think it's not going to probably be that consistent, but I think you're going to have that Cinderella story that all of a sudden everyone's going to be tuning in.
Rumor has it Florida State in the Big 12. Yeah, I'm not ready to buy that rumor yet.
Yeah, I'm calling 0% on that. There's no way in hell they're going to the Big 12.
They're not going to the Big 12.
Yeah.
If they go anywhere, it's in SEC possibly, but it sounds like the Big 10 to me.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Big 10. 5 through 8. Yeah, 5 through 8 will be the ones hosting. Correct. It looks like 5 through 8 will be the hosts of that first round game. Then the winners of that, then they play against the bye teams. the teams that had a bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. I think that, you know, when you get some of these cold weather games, it's that's going to probably be a big help for somebody like Michigan, Ohio State, whatever, to be able to host a game and it's freezing ass in January.
Yeah,
Or
it's gonna be fun to watch those
you know?
games, man.
Yeah, man. Coach is saying never. I don't know. Maybe not. So, but it looks like with the way that it is with Notre Dame, unless they join that conference, they're never going to get a bye because you got to be a conference champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they better. Hey, look, that start of the fourth quarter better be a freaking Toby Keith song or they're not doing it right at OU.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned the rope and ride.
I don't know about that one for sure because of the fact that Okie Light is the Cowboys. So we don't want to say that at OU Stadium.
Then we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
Yeah. Absolutely. So did you I was telling everybody after the night the day that he passed away, that I met him in Vegas when I first moved out there. We played golf with them.
Wow, that's awesome.
We
He's
got
a
lucky,
great
man.
guy.
It was weird. I was wearing an OU hat and he just bounced in and showed up and decided he wanted to jump on. He could have got on anywhere in the freaking town and without playing with anybody. And he was like, I want to play with that Sooner over there. So the guy I knew at the club at that golf course, it was at Bali High. He comes over and he goes, there's a guy that specifically wants to play with you and CJ. And I was like, oh, okay. I knew we were going to have to. It was a Friday anyway. Then here comes Toby Keith. I was like, what the fuck? He was cool as shit, bro. He was cool as shit. He was super fun, man. A lot of
Down
fun.
to earth. Everyone loved him. He did everything for the right reasons. He built his career the way he did.
Yeah,
I mean, growing up, I have all of his greatest hits. I mean, that was
He's a cool guy, man. And man, and he cared so much. He did so much
for veterans.
For veterans, the USO. I mean, he did a lot of stuff. He was big and he was really he did a lot of stuff for Wounded Warrior, man. That was one of his pet projects a lot of times, man. And I mean, man, just loves. I mean, it's going to be tough not seeing him on the sidelines of those games because he was always there.
Yeah,
he was just always there, man. It just sucks that he's not going to be there. Yeah, they're definitely going to do that. They're definitely going to have a tribute. They better have a song. It ought to be him, and I think they will. Josie and him were tight. Him and Coach Stoops were tight. I mean, him and Coach BV are tight. I mean, they all are. He's been around. You know, this is kind of the time when he grew up as an artist, as a man, was during the Stoops era. You know. Yeah, he did find Taylor Swift. Hey, shit, she's made more money than that woman is loaded.
She made, after her numbers came in, that check she made over $2 billion in 1 year. It's wild.
It's insane, dude. It's insane. Well, look at all the money she made just for Chiefs this year. Just showing up.
Yeah.
Just showing up, dude. $400 million or some shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not gonna sit here and hate on Taylor Swift. I'm not gonna do it. I get it. I know what you guys are talking about.
Trust me. Did they show her too much during games? Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man. She do I listen to her music?
You blame Travis Kelce? Shit, no. Travis Kelce's a smart man. You better wife her up, bro. Wife her up. You better wife her up. Yeah, I mean, she might be richer than Oprah.
Yeah, I think she is.
That's pretty insane right there. Yeah, you always saw him with Coach Stoops. Yeah, he was around him a lot. And then apparently he coached Joe Castiglione Jr., their football team. He was their coach. The Taylor Swift Bowl. Yeah, it was. It kind of was. Every weekend in the playoffs. But she flew all the way back from like Japan or something for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
She had a show the night before in Japan and hauled ass to get there. Neelio, can't stay, just saying hello and hoping you all have a fantastic show. Good luck. Hey, thank you, Neil. We appreciate you. Welcome in. Hey, man, thank you for the super chat. As always, you can always come back. We're just talking trash about Mizzou and Texas. We haven't got into Mizzou as much yet. talking shit about Texas, talking shit about Okie Light. Yeah. You guys better make sure that K-State needs to not allow Okie Light to win the damn conference championship. They can't win them. They don't ever win them. Dropped on down to be a new cornbread. Right? Let's see. A 12-hour flight just to make it there. I think it might have even been a little longer than that. But yeah, no doubt. Let's see. What do you got? You gotta go?
Yeah, I do.
Dang, bruh. Okay. Well, shoot, man. We got to let JJ get out of here, too. But, hey, JJ, tell everybody how to find you. And definitely we need to get together on some stuff over the next few weeks or whatever. We got our new show, No Cap SEC, man. You got to come and check it out.
Oh, heck yeah. I'll definitely be jumping on with it with you guys. I'll tell you this, guys, of course, always hit the like button, subscribe to the show. Again, you can find me at Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen on YouTube, on X, that you call it now, JJ_Kitchen40. Again, I don't go on many shows. This is probably only one of 3 shows that I go on because Jason and, of course, Coach are the best of the best. If you haven't yet, subscribe. They are the best of the best. And remember, don't be a hoe. Share the show. That's all you got to remember.
I would do it. I love it when you say that. Don't be a hoe. Share the show. Hey, where are you at on your subs now? We had you. You're over 9. You're almost
930. 900. Well, no, 934. So we got 70.
All right.
So we have 66 left. That's it. Almost to 1,000. We're gonna do. I figured, you know what? There's been so many loyal people. I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 giveaways when we hit 1,000.
Listen. Let's do, everybody jump on there. It's just Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Wherever your social media is, go post that link. Help him out. It's 60 people. We can get that. We can get him there. Let's get him there by the end of the week. It's time for him to monetize. He works his ass off on it a lot. Great show too, by the way, man. I've been watching your show. I watch your show all the time, but
yeah,
I love watching it. And man, excited for you. Want to see you get to that 1,000 marker. So,
oh yeah, brother. And again, thank you guys. You guys make the show fun. You guys make talking about college football fun. So again, you, the viewers, are the best, guys. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for everything you guys do. The shows are fun because of you.
Hey, man, you make it fun as well. We appreciate it, bud. We
all
will,
right, brother.
See you
Coach,
here.
Coach, bring back a W. Bring back a W from your family. Come on, brother. Let's get a dub. Be good. I'll see you guys.
Right, see you, Coach. See you later, man. JJ Kitchen, Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Man, great guy. We enjoy having him on, man. It's always fun to have him on. All right. We can continue kind of talking. Let's see. Yeah, man. Let's see. See you, JJ. Yeah. So what are you guys thinking about? Okay. We were talking about Cody Light, 7.5. He's telling everybody to pound the over. Shout out to Bucky's, by the way. What do you guys think about that? 7.5. You think they hit 8? Do they win 8 games next year with that quarterback? I think Ollie Gordon's the man, but there you go. Attaboy. Attaboy. Appreciate it. Not Top Gur 1. Is that how you say it? Thanks for doing that. Welcome to the show. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Hey, man. Yeah, we got to get him there. We got to get him there. Obviously, thank you so much to all of our channel members, the Hall of Fame Mafia. You could become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia yourself. Our channel membership is low as $2.99 a month. It's just go to youtube.com /@CFB-pod/join. Or you could just hit that right next to that like button. There's a little join button there. As low as $2.99 a month, you can get into our Discord, get some of our other perks that you get just for being a channel member. It helps the show, helps us out a lot. We appreciate that, and we have lots of fun in the Discord, man. It's that's worth its weight right there itself. Yeah, man. Let's see in their schedule. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for doing that. I'm glad. Just TP. We'll just call you TP. All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in, TP. All right. Okie Light schedule. Yeah, let's. We can pull that up real quick. Let me pull it up. Big 12 schedule. They're all pissy about the schedule because they screwed with some of the. I guess because they were messing with some of the rivalries, like Farmageddon and stuff, isn't happening next year. I guess. Oh wait, not that one. Let's see. Okay, Okie Light. Let's see. Okay, they got Arkansas, Tulsa. Then they start with Utah. Their first conference game is Utah at home, at Kansas State, home to West Virginia. It's not an easy start. Then the bye week at BYU, at Baylor, Arizona State at home, at TCU. Then another bye. Then they host Texas Tech and on the road at Colorado. Let's see. Utah should beat them. That's an L. K-State should beat them, but you might toss that one up. So that's 1.5. West Virginia at home. I don't know. They got Garrett Green coming back. Let's see if they're the same as last year. But they beat them up last year at their house. I don't know. West Virginia, that's maybe I think they probably win that one. So that'd be 2. They're going to lose at BYU on the road, probably. TCU on the road, I would suspect they lose that one. I'm going to take the under there, man. I think I'm going to have to take the under there too. Texas Tech, I think Tech's going to be a lot better with Barrett playing quarterback and now that Tyler Shuck's gone. I think they're in better shape. I think they're in much better shape. They got that 5-star receiver coming in. Defensively, they should be a little better. They had gotten some guys that didn't really play a whole lot last year, apparently, and I think the Tech's going to be better. At Colorado, I mean, I can see them losing that one too. At least, I can see at least 5 losses. 7 wins. Yeah, that's middle of the road. That's what I think they are, is middle of the road. Under, that's a 6-win schedule, Hank says. Yeah. Well, yeah, here, I could share that real quick. I mean, it's not. I think it can be. The Arkansas game, I mean, right there, the Arkansas game could be a loss. They are hosting it, but that quarterback, I think their quarterback that they got from Boise State is better than the guy they got. I don't know, man. Tulsa, they'll win. Utah, they're going to lose. At K-State, I think they lose that one. West Virginia, they probably win. They probably lose the BYU game. TCU. If Baylor's any better, I don't know that they are, but then Tech and Colorado, I mean, even if you go 1-1 in that one, 1-1 with BYU, TCU, that's 2 losses. K-State and Utah, that's 4. I mean, that's at least, well, that would be 8, but they could lose another one in there somewhere. They're going to lose another one somewhere. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it all depends. 7 wins. Good evening. What's up, Timothy? What are you doing, bud? Good to see you. Hey, you guys going to beat Okie Light next year? I think I like those guys. I think that Neil Brown, I'd really gained some respect for Neil Brown at Big 12 Media Days last year. He came in there saying, fuck y'all for picking us last. And it permeated through that team. You know, it didn't help them when they got to OU, but I'll tell you, them beating Oklahoma the year before, it was just going to be the way it was. But they took on that attitude after that. I like West Virginia. I think they're pretty good. Wait a minute. Okay. Patterson, what? Is he the defensive coordinator now? Is that what that whole thing? Oh, shit. I don't know how I missed that. I did see that yesterday. I've just been locked in on what I was doing. Let's talk about Gary Patterson for a minute. Unreal. Consultant role for the former rival. Mm-hmm. Is that them bringing him in to take the head coaching job whenever they chicken? Is that what's going to happen? They're bringing him in so that when they shit can Dave Aranda's weird ass, he can take over. That's pretty wild. I was kind of surprised when he didn't get the Houston job. I guess they like Willie Fritz. I like Willie Fritz though too. It seems to me like Aranda, if he made that move, then it's like he knows he's about to be on his way out. So you just hired your replacement. Sounds like what they did at Arkansas. Sam Pittman's going to get replaced within if they lose any of those first 3 games. SEC Mo keeps saying that that's it, right? I don't know, man. Pretty wild. Yeah, but they're going to have to play some offense somewhere. They don't have a court. I mean, not that they had a great quarterback that they let go, but he's going to be the guy that's starting at Mississippi State for Jeff. Why? Why you wouldn't have got in? What's up there, Boomer 129? That's pretty wild, dude. I thought it was a joke. I couldn't believe that because I was watching that deal on. You guys ever watch that TCU guy? What's his name? God, he's funny. He makes those funny videos. Damn it. Let me go and look at my history real quick, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Clint Foster. He's a freaking hilarious too. I was watching it on there. I was like, no way. Baylor goes Gary. It's wild, man. Pretty wild. Do you guys ever watch Clint Foster? He's funny, man. He's a trip. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. So yes, we're in agreement then. Okie Light on the under. We got to pound the under then. I'm gonna bet it. It's a good question. They can't go 7-5 again. They can't go 7-5 again. I don't know that they should because the Big Ten isn't good either. I mean, now their schedule, let's talk about that. That schedule is not easy. Let's see. Big Ten schedule. Okay, SC schedule is, see, they get Michigan, Wisconsin. Michigan's on the road. Penn State, or wait, road games. Yeah. Penn State at home, Rutgers at home, Washington on the road, Minnesota on the road. You say, it's not that terrible of a freaking schedule, really. But, I mean, no, but to be honest with you, they looked better with that other kid than they looked all year. They looked better with that other kid than they looked all year. He's the reason why that's why they didn't end up with freaking Will Howard themselves. They were after him, and then what's his name? Miller Moss went crazy in that game against Purdue, or not Purdue, but Louisville. Yeah, Clint. Yeah, Clint Foster. Yeah. He's a trip, man. This shit's funny. He did that Big 12 wrap-up meeting. That was funny stuff. He's a funny guy, man. I don't know. I don't think this 7-5 is going to cut it. I think if he was to win 8 or 9 games, he's probably okay in that first year without Caleb Williams and with their first year in the Big Ten. And they owe him a lot of money, man. You don't really want to, and they're kind of, for whatever reason, SC isn't really wanting to dump a bunch of money on this NIL stuff. I mean, they did for Caleb Williams and for those other guys, and it didn't really work out. What's up, PG? What's up, man? How you doing? What do you think? Does Lincoln make it through an 8-4 year, or do they fire him, PG? Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Would you like to come in, PG? I can throw you a link here. I'll throw it into your DMs on Twitter. If you want to come in, feel free. Mizzou is trash. OU's going to win 2 games next year. Arnold's a bust. Yeah, either you're trolling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. Missouri is the whole best team in the SEC. You're right, man. No doubt. They're such a weird bunch, man. They're such a weird bunch of people. You think he makes it through for a little while? Huh. Well, pop in, yeah. Pop in if you want. Wow, he makes it through 8-4, 7-5 though. I don't know, 7-5, man. That did not make anybody happy. PG can come in if he wants. Tell you what, I'm gonna I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'm gonna throw it on the commercial. It's a 2-minute commercial, so I'm gonna throw that up there. Our Mint Mobile commercial. I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'll be right back in.
Is your wireless company giving you a case of the what in the why is my wireless bill so expensive? Question: why are we paying so much for wireless service? Is it for speed, coverage, data, 5G access, mobile hotspot? Well, our new partners at Hall of Fame College Football, Mint Mobile, they have all these features, and for way, way less than big wireless. Like way, way less. As low as $15 a month. You can get signed up and activate your service immediately without having to leave your home. Mint Mobile reimagined the wireless process, making it easy and online. No more stores, no salespeople, and no given. With Mint Mobile, you get all the features you become accustomed to with big wireless, the nation's largest 5G network, and service for as low as $15 a month. To start saving today, just log on to our partner website, trymintmobile.com/HOF. Again, that's trymintmobile.com/HOF. You can get signed up and activate your service immediately. Big Wireless wants you to believe they're the only option. Here's the deal. Big Wireless. You get comparable service to Big Wireless. You don't have to talk to a salesperson to do it. Largest 5G network in the country, as low as $15 a month. Sign up for Mint Mobile today so you can stop getting by Big Wireless.
Welcome back. Yeah, I was my eyeballs were floating. What's up, PG? Welcome to the show.
I love big wireless, by the way. I have T-Mobile. Thank you very much.
Well, I think I think they just bought, or they're in the process of buying Mint Mobile right now. But
We're on a really ancient phone plan with them, so we'll probably never leave them as long as they never kick us off of our ancient mobile plan.
yeah,
We have
it's-
unlimited
see-
everything for the first 3 lines are like $80 a month, and then after that everything's $14 a month.
That's pretty sweet. That is ancient.
Dude, we've got like 20 people on our phone plan.
Hey, what's up, Lemon? Welcome into the show. Let's see who else is in here. Yep, Timothy PG now hanging out with us. We were talking about SC. What do you think happens if they go 7-5 again? You don't think he gets gone?
No, because they're in the Big Ten. I think they're going to want to have probably as little turnover as possible. I think it really comes to I think they want to see the improvement on the defensive side of the ball. Like if they improve on the defensive side of the ball and they just have a down year, I don't think they're going to fire him.
Well, they look better offensively once Miller Moss played. I mean, and I'm not saying anything
It was
bad
one game.
Caleb as far as
I ain't bought into Miller Moss. It was one game.
True.
Listen,
True. And they
Lincoln
look
Riley was out
better.
there trying to get a second quarterback for a reason.
Yeah, look, I mean, well, I think it was pretty clear that it wasn't Nico.
I mean, I don't think Nico's that good, and I don't think he was really recruiting Nico like that. I mean, Lincoln Riley has a good eye for quarterback talent. So if he trusts that Miller Moss isn't the guy, I trust Miller Moss ain't the guy. I know people don't want to hear that, but Lincoln Riley's a quarterback.
Well, the thing is the UNLV kid was a stud. You know, now he played in a different kind of offense and all that stuff like we were talking about. But I'll tell you that, yeah, I guess Miller Moss isn't guaranteed for the job or whatever.
I mean, Miller Moss is probably a serviceable quarterback. Again, he could probably get you to 8 wins. But, I mean, USC's schedule's hard. I mean, the thing is, I think they just want to see I feel like they know if the defense improves, they will eventually be a really good team.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't need a.
I mean, they start off with LSU though. They've got tough games. I mean, they're not, because I mean they've got a road game at Michigan. I don't know how tough that one's going to be now.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
But yeah, it's still in the
I think
big
Texas
house.
loses at Michigan this year.
Yeah, you think they do?
Oh yeah,
I think they might.
We've
been talking about that a lot too. This whole 7.5, this 7.5 number. We've been talking about that a lot too. I think people are out of their mind. And did you see the stuff that Onakuno put out there?
Yeah. So I put out a video yesterday about Oklahoma, and I expanded on what Josh Pate was talking about, because Josh Pate had somebody submit a question. I don't know if you saw it, and he was kind of identifying the value of Brent Venables. And so the next thing that I dove into, which Pate didn't talk about, was the cultural change that Brent Venables brought to Oklahoma. But the 7.5 number, I really feel like that's just again, and it's kind of when Jay and I were talking the other day about the top 5 wide receiver quarterback, or the top 10 wide receiver quarterback duos. When you go look at the top 5 of that list, they have a strong returning offensive line, and everybody below that, their offensive line is kind of like, right? And Oklahoma being at the bottom, they have the most turnover. And so I feel like a lot of people are probably just looking at this team and they're going, on the offensive side of the ball, they lost one of the top 5 quarterbacks in college football. You lost your leading wide receiver in Drake Stoops. Really, out of the running back room,
if you're
too much
bad about Drake, but if that's your leading wide receiver, that's probably not a great thing.
Well, I mean, look at how many people though were catching balls last year. And Drake Stoops was just Mr. Reliable. And so
absolutely. No, I love Drake. I think what a leader. You know what I mean? He was it was about more than that, but you want him to be that possession guy that, you got a Randy Moss, and then you got a guy like, Julian Edelman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are just looking at all these variables, like the running back room not being what we thought it was going to be. And so I think a lot of people are looking at it and saying, hey, on paper, I don't know if this Oklahoma team is going to win very much because their offense doesn't look like it's going to be very good.
Right.
But how many times have we said to ourselves, even when Lincoln Riley was here, oh, the offense is going to take a downturn, like, and then it seems like it gets better every single year. Like, we went to Kyler Murray. Everybody expected it to be about the same as when Baker was here. It got better.
Well, but he had a lot of
Jalen Hurts
time to
came
figure
in, and
it
we were
out,
like,
too.
"Oh, it's going to take a huge downturn with Jalen Hurts." The offense got so much more efficient with Jalen Hurts, and then with Rattler, like again, the
Right.
offense was just moving the ball. Like it was, and then you get Levy here with Gabriel, and it's like the offense is moving faster than it ever did, and they were able to score as quickly than when Lincoln Riley was here.
Well,
So
that whole thing with Barrett Sallee on that SEC podcast was insane. You're talking about they're not getting in Heisman caliber quarterbacks. What are you talking about?
yeah, so that's the thing that I pointed out,
So
and
stupid.
I talked about was because everybody likes to talk about the recruiting difference between Lincoln Riley and BV. And I actually, when I started deep diving into the numbers, I said, well, actually, Lincoln Riley recruited pretty well in his first 3 years as the head coach. Number 8 class, number 9 class, number 6 class. And
Right.
then he dumped off in
Offensive guys,
2020.
yeah, because
But
you
look
won
at
the Heisman your first 2 years as the head coach.
okay, but in 2020 he fell to number 13, which, let's be honest, a lot of programs weren't recruiting at a high level in 2020. It was that was a hard year. So maybe put an asterisk next to that. Well, then in 2021 he had the number 10 class. And Caleb Williams, who, I mean, I think a lot of us will agree was a multi-generational talent probably for college football quarterbacks.
Sure.
And now the difference is he had 4 total 5 stars in 5 years or 6 years as the head coach, however long he was there. BV already
But
has
all of them were
stars.
offensive guys. Then they
So
lasted.
it's actually weird, and I don't remember this. I really don't. So somebody might have to correct me if I'm wrong. But when I was going back and I was looking at 247 Sports, and I don't know if this was a mistake in their rankings, but when you go to 2017 for Oklahoma, it actually showed that they got a 5-star safety. I'm pulling it up real quick because I thought it was weird, and for some reason I don't remember the guy's name. The guy's name doesn't sound familiar to me, so I'm thinking maybe he was like here and then transferred out really quickly. I'm pulling it up, but 247 Sports has
you talking
Oklahoma with Robert Barnes. That's who it is, Robert Barnes.
Uh-huh.
He was they had him ranked as a 5-star in 2017.
Okay.
But I don't remember Oklahoma really. I don't remember that. Do
I
you?
don't remember him. Do you guys remember him? Bookie?
Is that who it was? Was
Is
Robert
that
Barnes
who-
rookie?
Is that who you're talking about?
He was a safety. I thought
Okay.
wasn't Buki a linebacker?
Well, but you never know. Safety, linebacker, it could be either, right? I mean, a lot of times it just depends on the speed.
All I know is when I was looking at the 247 rankings and I saw that Oklahoma had gotten a 5-star safety in 2017, I was like, that doesn't sound right. That's got to be wrong.
Right.
But I mean, regardless, Brent Venables is recruiting 5 stars, I think just as good as anybody else. And then you have, Robert Barnes ended up at Colorado. 247 had him as a 5-star. On 3 did not have him ranked, it looks like.
Wow.
ESPN had him ranked as a 4-star. Rivals had him ranked as a 4-star. Anyways, so Brent Venables recruiting 5 stars just as well as Lincoln Riley did. Obviously, you see the difference on the defensive side of the ball.
And even more, it's all on the defensive side too. I mean, they got Jackson but the thing is I still feel like Devon Mitchell's still a 5-star to me. He was a top 10 in the next class, and you drop him all the way. I mean, either you're a first round guy or you're not. At 6'5", 250.
So the reason why that is because he's a year behind everybody else in this class.
I get that. But not athletically, and you look at his body wise, he's not. That's the thing, is he's not that far behind. There's some guys that are. I understand it. You haven't fully matured as an athlete yet. That's not the case with Devon Mitchell.
So a lot of this stuff is going just beyond physical traits. Because I think Trudeau has talked about it a couple times when he ranks players. He looks for the IQ. And I think for a guy like Devon Mitchell, you might have athleticism, but maybe your IQ isn't as fully as developed. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, he's coming in with one less year than he should. So yeah, like they're going to drop him at a 5-star. And let's be honest, he probably
No, I get that.
if he would
Out
have
of the
had
top
more
100
time-
is crazy to me because not everybody did, but some of them dropped him as low as like 300. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. If he would have had more time to camp, maybe we would have seen him back in 5-star territory. I don't think that was really a huge priority to him. So, let's
and
be
I don't
honest,
think
like
it
that hurt.
really- I mean, once you get there and play, you're going to play your way into the first. That 5-star doesn't make you a freaking first rounder.
Correct.
You have to go and
It's just
prove yourself still. But
it's just their projections of who they think could be a first rounder. But the thing is, they might think there's other people in this class that are better than him, and that's okay. I mean, like Nigel Smith at one
11?
point, we almost thought was a 5-star, and he dropped to the high hundreds.
Well, see, and that's what I was talking about on that one video that I did. Here's the deal. Think about this for a second. You have the godfather of freaking defensive line coaches. Larry Johnson was recruiting him hard. They're recruiting him hard there, E-Rob and them at Texas A&M, right? Those guys have been pulling in 5-star after 5-star after 5-star, and even that guy that started all of them, Shannon Terry, he was telling the guys at High Top that, look, if I call and I talk to Brian Hertline, I'm going to listen to what he has to say about a guy. So it's easy for these coaches to manipulate. If Nigel ends up saying Ohio State, he was going to be a 5-star. That guy's coached freaking 15 All-Americans.
I don't think so. And because I had talked to some people in the industry, and the reason why Nigel Smith fell was solely because he doesn't camp.
Well,
and so, although he rises during the season because he plays well, they didn't feel like he deserved a 5th star because he wasn't going up against some of the elite talent in camps, which is understandable. Some of these kids just don't want to do it, which is fine. I would rather you not camp if you're that elite because that just gets more eyes on you if you camp.
Well, that's true, and I get that part of it as well. But the other thing is that a lot of these guys they do tamper with these rating systems, and they're not looking at every guy in the country. And this guy's worked with. I mean, he's working with a former pro himself all the time. Instead of going to camps, he's actually has a coach. He had a coach that he worked with. So I get it, but the bottom line is that it's an easy way for you to underrate Oklahoma, which is great because going into the SEC, this is what we've been talking about, is that 7.5 wins is trash. Even with this schedule, there's nobody on the schedule except for, maybe Texas and Alabama, depending on what they have left by the time it all rolls around to that have more talent on the roster than OU. That includes Ole Miss. That damn sure includes Mizzou. And that includes Tennessee also. None of those schools have, and even LSU. LSU's close. But look, I think that there's some landmines out there. But if they don't, I think 9-3 is way doable. And if Jackson plays anywhere, I mean, you can't tell me that he's not going to be as good as Dylan Gabriel or better.
I mean,
you don't want him turning the football over.
9-3 is possible. I think it really comes down to what does that LSU game look like? What does the Ole Miss game look like for Oklahoma? And then, I mean, as much as people don't want to hear it, what does Missouri look like? You're going to go to Missouri. It's going to probably be a night game. If Missouri gets on some magical luck like they did last year, and Jay and I have talked about this too, and I think we've said it on live. We're going to find out this year whether it was Drink or whether it was his assistants that really had the team going last year
and all that stuff. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there's a really good possibility, OU fans don't want to admit it, that we could get to the end of the season and Missouri is sitting right there as the dog that could take us down. It's possible.
There's a difference, though. Well, I'm never gonna say that, but okay.
Listen, I was high on Missouri last year. I saw that roster and I saw their schedule.
I don't like Missouri. Well, look,
8 games.
They have a decent roster. They do, but they lost most of their defensive staff. Their defense was important. That for all the crap they're talking about getting Caden Green and then getting Williams-Nwaneri, okay, you still are number 21.
So
overall, I think Luther Burden's unbelievable. I think that he definitely is. But the rest, I mean, look, who are you going to say in that receiving core is better than the rest of the guys that Oklahoma has? Theo's not.
I
And
think
he's the
Theo
number
has a
two.
lot of potential, and I think he started to
I
show
like
a little
Theo
bit of it
too,
last
but-
year. But I think the problem was at Oklahoma, the scheme didn't fit what he was really good at, and the wide receiver room was just so deep that Theo Weiss is a guy that he needs to get. If you got Luther Burden taking, let's say, 50% of your touches at wide receiver, Theo needs to be a guy that's touching it another 35% of the time. And he wasn't getting that at Oklahoma, and he just didn't fit well in the scheme with.
I understand that.
I think he's really good.
He definitely got in Levy's doghouse.
Yeah.
Right away.
Listen, I really want Theo to do well, and I want him to have.
I do too.
I want him to get drafted, and I think he can. And I think he'll have another good season. Like he had a pretty decent season at Missouri, like a
He did.
decent season, and I think
did.
he'll have another one. But
And he's
the thing
big
is,
and he's got enough speed that he's going to go to the NFL. He's just body type right. I mean, he's got enough skills. I just don't know that. Yeah, I don't know, man.
For a
Here's
lot
the
of
thing,
people,
though.
they look at Missouri with the 21 commits at number 20 in the recruiting rankings, and I just want people to understand this. Yeah, we make fun of them, right? At the same time, where's Oklahoma sitting with defensive linemen? We just finally landed our first 5-star interior defensive lineman in a long time. So
Okay.
a lot of these elite teams look at us and say the same thing that we're saying about Missouri, just more so on the defensive line side, right? So now
Again,
what
though,
we
we were
have to
just
do-
talking about that, though. There's a lot of underrated talent on that defensive line.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm talking about getting the 5-star defensive lineman. And so,
Okay.
now Oklahoma, you've landed your 5-star interior guy in David Stone. You now have an opportunity to go out there and show your stuff. And if you go out there and you show
No
that David
doubt.
Stone does really well in your scheme,
Absolutely.
that Todd Bates hasn't lost it, now all of a sudden Oklahoma puts themselves in high conversations for the 5-star. Same thing for Mizzou, right?
Well, yeah,
if they
Larry
go out here and
Johnson's gotta
spit
be
out
gonna
another 9
retire
to 10
pretty
games this
soon.
season, they ain't be ranking at number 20 this next season. They'll be top 15. Right, you'll just see them slowly start to improve the more good seasons they put up because more recruits will take them seriously, and I think that's going to be a problem because they're in the state of Kansas and Missouri, which is an area that Oklahoma wants to establish well. And if you've got teams like K-State, Missouri, and KU on the rise playing well, that's a problem for Oklahoma. So that's all I'm saying. Like Missouri is not this team that we should just be marking off.
I'm marking them off. They're not beating Oklahoma. There's been too much trash talking and everything else to allow it. I'm not having it. What happened? Did they just
Still
lose?
out of Grand Slam.
Oof.
We had it tied up. DBU just hit a Grand Slam, 11-7. We had a chance to walk out of this inning, and we didn't.
Oh. Yeah, look, I think that I don't know. I'm not buying Mizzou. In the end, I do feel like with what they have and the fact that everybody's sleeping on them, I think they win that one. I think they can win. They should win Auburn for sure. They should win Tennessee for sure. The one that you concern yourself with, Ole Miss, obviously, LSU, and then Alabama, you still got to worry about. I just don't know if is Milroe the guy for that offense because they throw it a lot.
I don't think Alabama is going to be as big of a problem as people think.
Now, here's the thing, though. The one thing we know is that Kalen DeVore doesn't lose football games. And he's got more talent today than he probably ever had at Washington.
He doesn't lose games in the Pac-12. This is the SEC, and with the amount of talent that he lost in the offseason, I mean,
when you've coached 116 games and you've only lost 12 of them, that's a lot of freaking wins, man.
it's the SEC, though. It's a different animal.
It is.
He hasn't been in this.
They're going to have to stay. I think that the difference is going to be what are they going to do recruiting post this year?
Yeah, well, and then I think
can he keep up there?
The other problem is for him, he just lost so much dang talent. I don't see how
Defensively they're in good
bounces back and wins 8 to 9. Like some people got him winning 10 games this season, and I'm like, where do you see those 10 wins at? Because I don't. I mean,
one of the tough schedules too. That's the thing. They've got one of the tough ones. Look, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna make a lot of money betting against Alabama, so I'm not gonna do too much of it. But yeah, I think that if you're gonna, I've been saying this a lot. If you're gonna beat them, this is probably the time to do it. You get them at home. They've just gone through all of this stuff. No telling what's going to happen. So you got your opportunity to do it.
You want to hear a crazy take that I have about Texas this year? I think Texas.
Please do.
I think there's two scenarios that Texas operates this year. I think they go 10-2, and they go to the SEC championship, or they go 7-5. I don't think there's any in between this year. I think they go 10-2 and they're really good, or they're 7-5. And the reason why they got at Michigan.
3 games difference. Wow.
They got at Michigan, right? And I think a lot of it starts with that Michigan game, right? If I think if they win it, it really sets them off for a good start to the season. If they lose it, I think hurts them a little bit. So they go at Michigan. I think that's a loss. I think Georgia's a loss. I think Texas A&M's a loss.
Oklahoma's a loss.
Oklahoma's a toss-up, right? So that's why. But I'm just counting it as a loss. So that's 4. That's 4 losses. You only have to find one more on their schedule. And I was talking to Andrew Smith the other day, and I said, how funny would it be if Texas loses to UTSA this year?
Yeah, but UTSA lost their quarterback. They do well in the portal, but I don't see it.
But I mean, we don't know how well the Florida Gators are going to be this year. Like, some people are talking like the Florida Gators might be pretty good. So like that might be a tough game on their schedule. It's not, Texas's schedule is not a cakewalk. Like, I think they
it kind of is 13 games below 500 aside from Oklahoma and Georgia in their conference.
But also, I could see them beating everybody on their schedule.
A&M is better. A&M is better than what they probably were before Elko got there.
But I can see them beating everybody on their schedule but Georgia. I can see them beating everybody there but Georgia. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can see 10-2, and then I can see 7-5. Like,
if you see them winning 11 games or 10 games or whatever, then that means that you have to believe that they can just mix and match. When they lost Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, JT, all of their best pass catchers, Jordan Whittington, all of these guys.
Again, I think I think it's 10-2 or 7-5. I think that's where they end up. I'm
not assuming that they're winning all that, but what I'm saying is I definitely don't assume that they're going to beat Georgia.
Oh, I don't think they're beating Georgia. I think that Georgia game is an automatic loss.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Because, and here's the other thing that I've been saying too. Everybody's sleeping on OU, but here's what we've found out. Here's what we know. Head coaches that are these flashy, offensive-minded guys, Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury, they win a lot of games. They're not winning championships.
The difference is, though, Steve Sarkisian isn't just an offensive-minded guy. He is a good CEO. And I think he learned that.
Why do you believe that? He's won 10 games once.
It's not just about the 10 games. And so this is what I try to explain to people about Texas. Because so many people just look at it as, oh, well, they just won 10 games and they just won the Big 12. Like, okay, look at it this way.
It's not wrong.
What have been some of the biggest problems outside of culture that have been plaguing Texas over the past 10 years on their roster? Offensive line, edge rushers, and linebackers. Those are the 3 areas.
They just lost their defensive line coach and their defensive line. They lost too.
He came to Texas, recruited all 3 of those areas at an elite level.
But how do you allow Bo Davis to get out of town to LSU if Texas? That's a mistake on his part.
I'm gonna be honest, and maybe we can tie off on this another day. I don't think they really wanted to keep Bo Davis because I've heard some things from some recruits about Bo Davis, and he's a hit or he's a miss. He's not this. Yeah, he's not a fan favorite. We'll just put it out there like that.
They're still recruiting culture problems is what Hank is saying. Well, we're going to find out. But to me, it's hard to – all I'm saying is I know they replaced those guys. Amari Black, really good. They've got good receivers coming in. I understand that. They did a good job. Here's the thing, though. We have yet to see. You have to assume that all these plug guys are going to be perfect for what they need and that they're going to all, mix together well and it's going to be all okay. I don't know that I can assume that because you haven't seen that from anywhere else. That's the problem. Look, It's not. I believe that they should win 11 games, 10 games. If they don't win 10 games with that schedule, it's been a failure of a season for Texas. There's
Well,
no
again,
two
I think it
ways
just depends on how good some of these teams are on their schedule. Because, like, I think if you look at it today, I think you see 8 or 9 is probably more likely for Texas because I don't buy the Florida Gators hype that some people have. I don't think the Gators are going to be that good this season. I think
they're not. That's the
I
point.
think
They play
I think
Vandy,
Billy gets fired by
Arkansas, Florida.
game 3
They
or
play
4.
Vandy, Arkansas, Florida, and Mississippi State. There's no way they shouldn't win 10 games. It's a failure if you don't.
Well, okay. A&M's not a walkover. They're going to struggle with A&M, especially at Kyle Field. Like, that's the first time that game's been played in, what, 7 or 8 years? Or has that been longer?
Like 12 years.
Okay. Well, that's going to be an extremely tough game. Their toughest games on their schedule are Michigan, Oklahoma, Georgia, and A&M.
Yeah. 4 games.
They're not going 4 for 4. So they're probably at least losing 2 of those, maybe 3.
If they lose 3, that's a failure of a season to me.
I don't.
Because the rest of it,
I don't. You lose at Michigan. Like, let's say they lose at Michigan.
With everything they're saying about Quinn Ewers, that he's he's the guy now.
Okay, so riddle me this. So you think it's a failure if they lose? Like, let's say they beat Michigan, or say they lose to Michigan.
Definitely a perfect.
They lose to Oklahoma. They beat Georgia, and they lose at Kyle Field. So they lose 3 straight.
Georgia.
So let's say they lose 3 road games because those are 3 road games.
Okay.
But they beat Georgia. Do you think that's a failure?
If they lost 3 and they beat Georgia?
Yes. So they lose 2 at Michigan, Oklahoma, and at.
Well, they're not beating Georgia, but okay, sure, no. Yes, still I think so because Michigan. Here's the thing, Michigan, they pretty much brand new team. Everybody left. There's no excuse to lose that one, even if you're in the big house.
I think Sharon Moore is going to ease his play calling and the way he wants to run that team in. He'll probably run it very similar to Jim Harbaugh this year.
I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing if I was. I think that he could probably win the game because they're just going to play more physical football.
I think Sharon Moore.
That's how you beat Texas is out physical. Then
I think Sharon Moore
Georgia will do.
I think Sharon Moore will incorporate his own offensive scheme, but I think it's going to be a slow process. I don't think it's going to be something he just right out because he's still got a lot of those offensive guys there. So I think he's going to probably ease it in there, throw a couple things in there this season, make Jaden Davis he was a 5-star quarterback at one point. Make him a little bit more mobile in this offense, give him a little bit more freedom than Jim Harbaugh would have. And then over the next couple of years, start to implement new, go a little bit heavier into implementing new things. I think Michigan is going to be a lot better.
I don't think they're going to be bad. I just
offensively, I think they're going to be a hell of a lot better with Jaden Davis than.
We'll see what they can. If they are still really good in the trenches, though, that's where you're going to need to beat them. They will play the style of football that can beat Texas, but you have to be more physical.
Oh, they recruited really well in the trenches, though. They recruited really well in the trenches. Especially on the offensive side of the ball. They got some decent offensive linemen. They got one that Oklahoma wanted, Andrew Sprague out of Kansas this year. I think a lot of people are expecting Michigan to fall off, and there will obviously be some fall off.
There's going to be some fall off. They're not going to go undefeated again.
But
so,
Jerome Moore won some of those games for
absolutely. I'm not bad mouthing Sharon Moore at all.
No, I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are overlooking the fact that Michigan's recruited well. Sharon Moore has coached this team a couple times. I don't think it's going to be
4 games. I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big of a fall as people think.
Yeah. No, look, I get it. They lost a lot of other coaches though, and there's going to be. The thing is if you're going to win this game, if you're the guy that you're telling me that Sark is, then you got to win this game. You have an opportunity to go win it, and this is a time that they're down comparatively to where they were last year. If you're the guy that everybody thinks that you are, then you need to go win that game. And you need to win at home against Georgia, or you better beat Oklahoma because you cannot. Under 10 wins is not. Not for all the shit everybody's talking about Texas, man. No way.
Well, the thing is, at Michigan's a tough game because it's at
I'm
Michigan.
saying it's a
in
tough
Ann
game, but
Arbor.
if
And-
you're going
and
to
I
have a
think
better
Texas and Michigan are very
opportunity than today, when are you going to get a better opportunity to go into the big house and win?
Oh, that's
Then
what I'm saying.
yeah.
If they go into Michigan and they win that game, I think the hype for this team is going to carry them. And in fact, I think they probably beat Oklahoma if they beat Michigan. I think if they beat Michigan, they're that good of a team to probably beat Oklahoma in the Red River.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
That's what I got.
Listen, when I talk about Texas and Texas being back, I think they're back in terms of being able to just be a good team all around. Like, I really am impressed at how Sarkis came in, turned around the offensive line, recruited linebackers, turned around the defensive line. Like, I think those are going to be the kind of things that get Texas to be that Texas that is a national championship contender every year. Those are the things Texas needs to do. Just like if
I'm
Oklahoma
not
wants to get
buying
back in
that
that-
shit. You
just
got to
like
show me
Oklahoma
more
already
from
that
you.
conversation.
Got to
They need
show
to be
me
top
more if
30
you're Sark.
defense.
You got to show me more if you're Sark. I get it that hey, I'm not bad mouthing what they did last year, but they also had continuity on that football team. There's some things that are going to get in the way of them being that. And until I've seen him do this over and over again, I've seen him do it once. He's been a head coach for 10 years at 3 good programs. There's no reason why this is the first time that he can that he's a 10-win guy. I don't buy it.
I mean, the thing is, though,
I don't buy it.
He's gotten better year over year, right? So he went 5-7, he went 8-5, and now he's 10
Yeah,
and
but 5-7 losing 6 in a row. I mean, with the lead at halftime, that tells you. And hell, they should have played for the conference championship year 2.
losing
And
6 in a row is
all over himself at
losing
Okie
6 in a row is inexcusable. But at the same time, Oklahoma had growing pains. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like in your first or second year, you're gonna have those kind of pains. Like you're gonna have to figure it out. Like you're not gonna in your second year. I think very few times you're gonna see a coach in their second year just continue to have success or to run off with that kind of success. Like it takes time to implement the culture and get the things in place that you want. So
I'm not saying he hasn't done a pretty good job with that. He's changed things around some, but they're not without holes, bud. They're not.
If they go 10-2 this regular season, do you think Texas is back?
If he
because at some point or another, we have to acknowledge that.
If he wins 10 games the second year in a row, I'll come closer to it. But they still have an easy enough schedule that they need to win 10 to me.
What if they go 9-3? What if they go 9-3 but beat Georgia?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, I'm having a hard time with that one. If
they're
having
a hard time with the Georgia thing, yeah.
If they're going to go 9-3, one of those losses is going to be to Georgia. Texas is never back. Hank says it.
Finally, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Onakuno there. Like, I think people are a little high on the Texas train, but at the same time, I also don't think Texas is as bad as some Oklahoma fans make them out to be.
I'm not saying that they're. Hey, look, man, everybody knows they got talent. Everybody gets that. I think that there's some opportunities to lose. I'm not giving him an excuse to do it, but I think that everybody's making it such a sure thing that they're going to be in the playoff and that they're going to, play. That they're going to play.
Oh, I think they're in the playoffs. If they're not in the playoffs this year, they win 7-5 and it's travesty.
It's a failure. It's a failure if they don't make it in with that schedule.
With 12 teams,
even if you lost to Michigan and you lost to Georgia and you lost to OU, okay,
9 games is going to get you in the playoffs if you're Texas.
Huh?
9 games will get you in the playoffs if you're Texas.
Oh yeah.
9 games will get you in the playoffs if you're Oklahoma.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, because of the schedule.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Making the playoffs now, it doesn't mean shit. Getting to that second round game,
you got to go through it. Yeah, you need to play.
Getting to the second round game is what's going to start meaning something.
No.
You got to get out of the first round or have a first round bye. That's what's going to mean something.
I agree.
Because
How
for
long,
these Big
how long
Ten-
until you think they get rid of conference championship games, though?
oh, I don't think they should.
Think about that for a second. If you're an SEC team that say you lose on a tiebreaker to go play for the conference title, right?
Mhm.
So you don't get to play for it. Now that's a week off, assuming that you're going to get in, because you're going to get 3 to 4 teams. If you lost on a tiebreaker to be the number 2 team into the SEC championship game, if you weren't going to win the thing, you're probably better off, because now you get a bye anyway, and possibly you get a home game.
No, I don't think we should do away with conference championships.
I'm not saying that you should. What I'm telling you is that there's going to be a lot of extra games. I don't know that I think you're going to have to at some point, probably, especially once they go to 16, they're going to have to start thinking about taking away a regular season game or something.
Pate had a good point. And he's actually, I think he's put out 2 points before, but the recent one was one I liked. He said probably just go to 10 conference games.
Okay, well that'd be the same thing. And I
no,
agree
because you're eliminating you're eliminating 2 regular season games and all you.
Okay,
and then
well, the question I was going to ask you though is, would you rather go in as the number 2 on a tiebreaker and lose the conference championship game you're playing next week in the first round, or would you rather lose the tiebreaker, have a week off, and you're playing the first round anyway?
So,
because you can get healthy, I mean, look.
You want to know what I'm facing a dilemma? I'm facing the same dilemma that I had with the 49ers taking the ball in overtime. Are you sure you really want that bye week when everybody else is playing? Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes these bye weeks can hurt you more than they help you.
Listen,
this could be a year we find out that maybe you don't want to buy.
Hey, man, that when you go through the SEC 9-game schedule, because it's coming, probably going to be a little banged up. Couldn't hurt to get a week,
I know,
but
it could.
I think it depends on the situation, PG. I think it depends on the situation, but I would tell you that I don't think it's cut and dried one way or the other, is it?
I don't know. It's a hard decision. I think I really like Pate's idea. Go to 10 conference games and then have your conference championship, or eliminate all out of conference, or eliminate all your out of conference games except one. Go to a 9-game schedule, 1 out of conference game, and your 1 out of conference game cannot be an FCS opponent.
Yeah. Well,
if you are a Power 5 team, you have to play another Power 5 team, or you have to play.
Well, that's always hey, look, there's always been a rule in the SEC that one of your non-cons has to be another Power 5 school. Now they get around it sometimes, but they can waiver it. But they should do that. But they always play.
There's obviously going to be a change,
8 though too. So
there's going to be a change. Like, this isn't over.
There's going to be a lot of differences, right? We're going to see some different stuff happen. The thing, I mean, these are some of the questions that are fair to have. Look, even Jay saying, yeah, it depends on your ranking. But I'm just saying, there's going to be those situations. You keep, you think about the playoff this year, guys. I mean, a lot of people pissed off about it. I'm surprised that this didn't happen almost every year. You had 5 power conference champions and 4 spots in the playoff. How the hell was it ever going to be okay? I'm surprised that they got away with it as many times as they did.
How long do they keep the 16-team playoff format and 16 teams in these conferences before they split everybody up? Because I think it's going to happen. I don't think we live in this college football era too long, where you have 16-team conferences and you have a 16-team playoff. I think they go down to maybe 12 teams, and they go and they say, okay, you know what? These conferences are too big. There's too much elite talent in one conference. We're going to split everybody back up again and diversify.
The way they're going to do it, no, you're going to have the teams that choose to go into a subdivision, and there'll be teams that don't. There's going to be a subdivision. It's not going to be a part of the NCAA. The CFP is going to they're going to break it off from teams from, I don't know that you lose the rest of these conferences. I don't think that happens. I think you probably keep the rest of the Power 4, quote unquote Power 4, whatever. And there's going to be.
No, it's Power 5. Pac-12 still there. Pac-12 still there. You got to give Oregon State, Washington State their credit.
No, you don't. No, you don't. They're playing a Mountain West schedule now.
Hey,
And you-
I can tell you who the
But
Pac-12
subdivision
champion's going
part,
to be.
if you're willing to buy in and pay players and do all that stuff that they're doing, that they're going to have to do anyway, because this is coming. So when you're starting with the FBS thing is going to make it to where you don't have to switch conferences. And I honestly don't see the SEC might get 2 more. They don't want to go any bigger though. I don't really think they do. If they did, they would have already done it. I just think, 4 conferences of 20. Yeah. And you get 16 in out of, that's a lot. But I also think that they're going to have to, at some point, the G5 schools are going to need to do their own thing. There's no point in them being this thing. They are going to break away from
I think
this.
you'll have a lot of G5 programs die if that's the case.
I don't know that has to be the case, though. I think that you can still
I don't
play
think
them.
these programs make enough money is the problem.
Yeah, but if you give them something that they can win, and people will watch college football, the college football people and football fans in general will watch football if no matter who
I
the
ain't
hell
tuning in to watch Buffalo play UC or USF.
in
I
the
ain't
champion. Hey, I watch the freaking playoffs in the Division II playoffs every year. I love watching that shit. I mean, I like college football. I like football, so I'll watch it. And I think, and now that's going to be some diehard, but I think that there's some things that you can do to get people excited for it. Look at all these leagues aside from the NFL that are out there, and they're still making money.
Well, then if that's the case,
Football.
right? If you're the G5 and you're going to do that, then you need to have your season separate from the Power 5. Just like the USF or whatever they are does from the NFL. You would have to do your season separate because that's
really
the only
thought
way I
about
think
that,
that you
but that
could
may
draw
not be-
enough interest to your.
Well, but I think that you could mitigate. You could still play some of these power schools to make a little extra money and do, to get paid to get your ass kicked deal.
Yeah, you want to know what I've said? And everybody kills me for this, but I would love it. Fucking invite these teams to spring games. Instead of doing a scrimmage between red and white, go pay
Dude, I would love
USF
that.
to come in and play you and just say, hey, just have an agreement like, hey, like we're not going to be blowing people up or whatever, right? Just be like, hey, like, yeah, you can tackle, but don't blow somebody's head off. Like we're trying to keep both teams as healthy as possible, but we also want to have a competitive game.
See, just like right there, this is they're going to end up doing it on every night of the week. That you can do it without doing it on Saturday and there's only so much space anyways, but now that they're doing
if
all
the G5 does this, I think it'd be better if they went to an out of Power 5 schedule. Like if they just said, hey, let's go play in the spring to the summer.
They get their ass kicked by the FCS though too, man. Those FCS schools ain't no joke.
I'm just saying, I think because it gives people college football almost year round at that point.
Right. But the Power 5 could still have value for the G5 CW. And that's the thing. Nobody's trying to kill college football completely.
You could pay.
That includes these big conferences. I think that they don't think for one second that they don't like having their, no matter who it is, having their cupcake games when they want them.
You could pay a team $1 million. Because here's the thing. OU could hire Maine to come in the spring. I'd pay $60 to come watch that game in the spring, and I feel like they could pack out the Palace if there was a competitive football game.
Anytime they open that place, people are going to be there. Yeah,
not for the spring games. You're not filling that up like capacity like you are during the regular season at the spring games, unless you have a competitive football game that people can come watch.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that there's a lot to come down the pike. I don't know that there's any, one answer to the whole thing. But yeah, like, you're going to see, but I think these are the kind of things that makes you want to keep allowing those G5s and even FCF schools to get shots at somebody, man. It happens sometimes. It works out that way. Look,
what was it that beat at Michigan? Who was that? Akron State or who was it?
Appalachian State. They just beat freaking
Texas A&M last
year. Yeah. 2 years ago. They're staying in. Well, here's the deal. They'll never get a bye. They won't be a conference champion, but and I think at least for these 2 years, they're not going to make them do it. But I know that they're trying to make them join a conference.
Yeah. The thing is, I respect Notre Dame because their schedule's tough. Like,
it's not this year, but sometimes
well,
it can.
yes, but it is tough though in some years. Like, it is a tough schedule, and so like I don't think they
Depends
get
on the
their
year, but
credit
yeah.
as much as they should. Like, it's a tough schedule. That independent
Last year
schedule
was a
was
hell
big.
of a schedule. I mean, they played Ohio State, they played Clemson,
USC, they play Clemson. Like,
they
it's
beat the
it's
shit
not,
out of USC. That was great.
yeah, it's not as easy as the schedule people think it is.
It was great. Yeah, it's pretty easy this year. Even coach will admit it. But my thing is that look, I don't really care about them. I mean, they're the one school that doesn't really have to, and they have enough rivals that they want to play every year that they can do it. Now, if they end up in the Big Ten, which I think they probably will at some point because it's in their footprint. Most of their rivals are all in the Big Ten now. This is kind of where it is. But this year, they're tough. They've got A&M to start off with, and then it's pretty cakey until they get around, I think.
The A&M makes sense just because of the academic stuff. It kind of lines up with what they want.
Louisville, they've got, and then, well, the Big Ten, yeah. I mean, they're in their footprint. The thing is, though, and we've heard this a lot too. I mean, we've heard Notre Dame people say fuck the Big Ten because of the way that they kept them out a long time ago over being Catholic. It was a big problem. And there are people at Notre Dame that are big that, you know, they spend a lot of money and pay Notre Dame a lot of money and that will never be okay with the Big Ten. Never. Because of that stuff. So there's other things that go on that we don't, you know, that not everybody's talking about it out loud all the time, but I could see if the SEC made a push to grab Notre Dame, which why wouldn't you? It's a brand.
The brand has finally returned. F- your brand.
but
His rant was so great.
that was so freaking funny, man. I was crying laughing. Shout out to Onakuno. Good stuff. No, listen, I think that at one point they're probably going to have to join one, but I wouldn't be that surprised if the SEC went after them. And maybe they go there because they hate Michigan and Ohio State that much. Could be. But SC's in there now. You know, Stanford's still not. But I mean, a lot of their most of their rivals that they play from year to year are now Big Ten schools. So yeah, it fits. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. What else? And then Okie Light at 7.5 projection. You got them over or under next year?
Oh, I've got
Are they going to finally win the conference championship now that Oklahoma's gone?
I think I got them at 9 games. Wait, we're talking about Oklahoma State or Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma State.
Oh shit.
Okie Light.
Let me pull up their schedule real quick and I'll tell you.
I think I got it right here.
Because they got a new quarterback this year, right?
No.
Alan Bowman's returning?
This still was Alan Bowman, yeah.
That motherfucker's got another year?
Yeah, somehow.
Okay.
They didn't give one to two, brother.
All right. So look at their schedule. They losing to Utah.
Mm-hmm. Kansas State probably too.
Yeah, they probably losing at K-State. So that's 2 losses.
At BYU, they lose that one.
No, actually, I think they probably win that. I don't think BYU is going to be very good next year. I bet they lose to Colorado.
Yeah. And Tech.
Yeah, so that's 3.
And at TCU.
Is Tech going to be that good next year?
Yep. They're way better with Barry Morton.
Let's just say they have 4 losses.
With Barry Morton.
Let's just say they have 4 losses. So yeah, they win 8 games. So they you can probably take
the over.
I bet they take the I take the over.
What about TCU? What about TCU? They're on the road there.
TCU ain't gonna be no good.
You don't like Sonny, huh? Don't think Sonny's gonna get it done?
I don't think they had a good recruiting class, to be honest with you.
What are your thoughts about Gary Patterson taking that job at Baylor?
I think he's just trying to find I think he wants to continue football stuff and he's just trying to find a home, something that fits.
Notre Dame needs to stay independent with their arrogance. Mike, who might you be a fan of?
Hey, I will say this, though, about Oklahoma State. After this past season, I ain't going to try to talk shit about them being this garbage team that I think they're going to be every single year because somehow they pulled off a really good teams this year. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they pulled it off. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop saying Oklahoma State's not gonna be any good. I'm just gonna assume Oklahoma State
mediocre. They're mediocre, Mike.
They're gonna be middle of the road every single year.
They're mid. They're mid. I'm not giving them that. Just like I'm not giving it to Mizzou, I'm not giving it to Okie either. They're gonna have to prove it. I think that look, we know that they don't win the big game. They choke in the championship game, no matter who, every time.
Yeah, they don't have to play Arizona next year. That's big.
That is big. But they get Utah. I mean,
they get Utah at K-State and at Colorado. Those are going to be some tough games, but everything else on their schedule is very winnable for them. The question is, though, do they beat Arkansas, or is Arkansas bad enough to lose?
Arkansas's got a new quarterback that's probably better than the one they had, at least as far as throwing the ball is concerned.
Yeah, but what about the rest of their team? Is it good enough to beat Oklahoma State, or is Arkansas still that bad?
But Bobby Petrino's a pretty good equalizer with that offense if you got a guy that can throw.
I'm just saying, I don't think Arkansas will be that good. I think they lose.
I don't either, but they should probably lose that game.
Yeah, 3 to 4 games. I think
Arkansas should lose that game.
Yeah, I think that's how much Oklahoma State loses. 3 to 4 games.
I got them. I'm gonna say 7-5. I'm staying.
Gosh, I cannot wait for a Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I get it, man. Okay, so with their arrogance, you talking about Notre Dame's arrogance? Yeah. I think Notre Dame's a good team this year.
Notre Dame's gonna be a great team. They got a really good quarterback.
They go 10-2. They're gonna be in the playoff. That brand works enough that they're gonna put them in the playoff at 10-2.
Hey, Notre Dame draws television. Here's your ratings.
Okie Light will be one of the 4 wins Arky gets, says Hank. Hank's telling it like it is.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm looking at the November 29th game at the end of the season. Gosh, it's going to be so fun to watch Deion Sanders take on Mike Gundy in a press conference.
Oh,
Mike Gundy going to say something
out of his weight class right there.
Say some stupid shit, and Deion's going to. Oh,
he will have said something dumb during the week, and then they'll get their ass whipped over it for it. Yeah, I don't know, man. That should be a lot of fun, though. Should be a lot of fun. All right,
it's in Boulder too, so that'll probably be a good
game. Be a good game. I'm interested to see if Colorado makes a step forward. I think they should.
I think they will go to bowl this year.
Hey, man, look, I think Shador is really good.
They really improved their offense.
Really good.
So I think they're gonna.
If they run the ball better and they protect him a little bit, they're gonna have to play some defense. But they're
gonna be a stud.
Huh?
Dylan Edwards is gonna be a stud for them.
Dylan Edwards is a stud. He already is.
No, I mean, looking at their schedule, Colorado's got a pretty easy schedule. North Dakota State at home, at Lincoln, which I think they probably lose to Nebraska this year. At Colorado State, they win that 2-1. Baylor at home, 3-1. Not sold on UCF yet. Think they can beat UCF, so that's probably 4-1. They probably lose to K-State. They probably lose to Arizona. Probably beat Cincinnati. Probably lose to Texas Tech on the road. Probably lose to Utah at home. But I bet they could beat Kansas and Oklahoma State.
Cool.
And Kansas plays a very similar style of ball to Kansas. And it's not, it's technically not a true home game for KU because they're playing at Arrowhead. So,
yeah, I think KU is going to be better than most people think. I think Kansas State. I like Arizona depending on what if they change much up. I don't think they really are gonna. But when you got Fafita and McMillan, they should be good to go. I like Arizona. I like Utah. I like K-State. I like all of them better than I like Okie Light.
Yeah, no, I think Colorado goes.
What I would say to Jonathan here, I said this is the last. That's their last game of the season is against Colorado. That's on November 29th. So that's the final game. We'll know whether they're good or not.
And Jonathan, you're looking at that 29-point lead, assuming that's going to be the same team when Deion went and addressed. Like Deion went and addressed issues that were on the team last year with depth and things like that. Like obviously, I think a lot of people are giving him a bunch of flack for the season that he had. He took that team to win 4 games after they won 1, and that roster, the year that they won 1, was not very good. Additionally, when you turn over 85 roster spots, literally he turned over I think it was total of 88 new players on that team. You're not going to be the most competitive team in the world. So listen, they're going to be a lot better year 2. Hey, did you mute your mic? I don't think I can hear you.
Oops. Oh,
I had to go verify that it wasn't just
my
me
bad.
before I
No, it
said
was
something.
me.
But
no, what I was saying is I think that Colorado is, look, it was a trash program that he took over. The goalpost moved because they beat TCU in the opener and then won their first 3 games the way that they
God,
did.
I thought that Colorado team was about to do something special. I'm not going to lie. I thought
It
they were
was
about
weird,
to do
right? It was like, man, how are they going to do that? But
Shit, they were about to
they,
beat USC.
they
I
came
just
down.
want y'all to
They
know
also
that.
lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. You shouldn't lose the freaking Stanford game. You shouldn't have lost, the Washington State game at the end of the year. They shouldn't have lost that one either.
Nope, but and they almost beat Arizona and they almost beat USC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a game USC fans, they don't want to admit that they should have lost.
Right.
They will die on the hill.
They should beat USC. No, USC screwed that. Look, that's where, and there's no reason why it should have been that way, but that just went to show you how incomplete of a football team USC was. They were Caleb, and that's it. And they had the best running back probably in the country. He ran an average of 11 times a game. 11. Unbelievable. And all the freaking, look, Caleb had a decent stat year. It wasn't near what it was his Heisman year, but he also never got him any easy throws.
Dude, I don't know what it was. So
Unbelievable.
The offensive line last year for Caleb got a little bit better. But somehow the defense I say this somehow the defense at USC got worse.
And they added talent. Yeah, dude.
It somehow got worse with everything they had. I was scratching my head.
The year before, their best team was going to be the team that he started with, and then it was going to go downhill.
I was scratching my head, going, "How did this happen?"
I called 8-4 at the start of the year. They did me one better and went 7-5. I saw it coming. I definitely saw it coming. And look, maybe he's learning his lesson. Denton Lynn, from everything, he's talking all the right, but he always says he always knows what to say.
I don't think it was his choice, to be honest with you.
Nah, no.
And that's how I would approach it.
They've got a new athletic director who didn't hire him. She doesn't have to care.
If I was, because it sounds
but
like
they are on the hook for $80 million still. They're still on the hook for $80 million.
Yeah, it sounds like you got GMs now in college football. So it's I look at it as if I was a GM in college football, I'd be like, all right, yeah, hey Lincoln, I'll pay you $10 million a year. You don't get to pick your defensive coordinator, and you really don't get to have any say with that defense. I'm going to hire a defensive coordinator. I'm going to pay him what I want, and you're going to work with that person, and you guys are going to work in tandem because guess what?
Well, but he got to turn that. They would have gotten what's his name had he just allowed him to bring his own staff.
Could you imagine if they
they turned Jim Leonard down on bringing his own staff? Why?
Let's imagine a world where Lincoln Riley is at Oklahoma and he has Brent Venables as his defensive coordinator. Oklahoma probably wins 2 or 3 national championships.
He wouldn't have. Well, if he did it the right way, but we know that that's not what Lincoln was, though. That was never going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying, you pair Lincoln Riley up with a guy like that, you probably win 2 or 3 national championships. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh well, no, I don't
need to do much.
Listen, I think that if Dabo would let Lincoln's little brother do his thing, that they would be in good shape because their defense is still good. It's offensively.
I think he will this season. I think it was just first year in. I don't
hear
think
what he said last year. We run the Clemson offense.
I think last year was a whole lot of
shit I've ever heard of.
Well, if you notice towards the end of the season, their offense got a little better. I think you'll see him be able to do more of what he wants to this next season.
Stephen G, bingo. The biggest issue is P90X Master. Mm-hmm. Yep. Tybo and Tebow.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap up here.
Time for me to get out of here too, man.
I got my buddies wanting me to hop on some Call of Duty, and I still got to record a video for tomorrow because I didn't do one today. So
Perfect.
Hey, don't be
Thanks
making
for
fun of
coming
yoga with football. Nick Saban made his players do yoga,
Yeah, not just yoga.
and he made some of his players do ballet.
Not
So
just yoga.
I just
Not
want you
just
to know,
yoga.
it's
They
yoga
also did
and
weight
ballet.
training.
and hey, and they had to do
Man, tell
ballet.
everybody how to find you before you go.
Oh, yeah, you can follow me on YouTube, PG Show. We talk recruiting. I'm everybody's favorite phony insider. So make sure you guys pull up, and we got lots of information for you.
Hey man, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Good times, man. We'll get with you soon. Make sure you guys get over there and check out all his latest stuff, man. PG keeps us going on all the recruiting stuff that you guys want to know. Sooner Cowboys, you know you're getting it there, not here. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in.
Oh no, yeah, you're welcome.
Talk to you soon, man.
Talk to you later.
PG from the PG show, man. All right, guys. Is it time for EA Cultural Block? Now, this I will get into. I can't wait for that. I can't wait. I'm pumped about it. Ready. Yep. Guys, thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it, everybody. Make sure if you haven't gone over to the Hall of Fame Sooner Network, I'm going to start putting more OU stuff there. Get over there and subscribe to that channel for me if you would, please. It's really important for us. I'm going to pop that other video over there right now, and we'll start getting more of these kind of things out for that one as well. Thanks, everybody, for coming in and supporting the show as you always do. If you hadn't hit that like button, please make sure you do. Get over there. Make sure you subscribe to JJ's channel. He's 60-something away from the spot. If you haven't already become a member of JJ Kitchen's channel, just go subscribe, man. Help him out. It'd be great. And same with PG. Again, always great recruiting information coming from the PG show, along with Unfair Sports, all those guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. I will leave you with a video that I made. It's just a clip, and I hope Onikuno doesn't do this. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with this Onikuno video.
Finally, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand. Fuck your brand.